Welcome. We have another different crew. We will, it'll be very fun every week. But it's me and Josh, so that'll be fun. What's up?
Hey, Tyler.
We're chilling. Feeling good.
I'm
feeling a little off today. I was telling you guys a little before the show, but I'm ready. Every time I get talking about football and fantasy, it seems to change my spirits a little bit. So let's see if it works today.
And you made an appearance on Ask DLF this week. Did you enjoy
that was a lot of fun. Like last Tuesday night, I think we had a lot of really good conversation. I know it was a slightly different crew than everyone was used to on there, but we had fun. We were on there for close to 3 hours, I think, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask if it was another marathon session.
It is. Point. I think, were you ready for how much volume there is in the chat?
Well, to be honest with you, I've seen the show before. It's been a couple months, but I've watched the show in the past. I know there's a ton of comments. I've added to the comments before. And I think a part of our problem was at the very beginning, every question we were spending like 10 minutes on. And like, meanwhile, they're just building and building and building. And then finally, like the last 45 minutes, we're like, okay, let's just run through this. Let's go.
Well, that's what happens when I'm in charge. I let it go. I don't keep as much of a hammer on things. But it'll be interesting moving forward on SDLF. I mean, Cal is gone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cal was on there for a long time. Like, didn't you guys do it together? Like, start it up together when it launched?
Yeah. No, and it's I don't expect that I'll talk about it on that show. Sure. But it had been a really good run. I love Cal. For us. He's great. Yeah. No, he's great. I do feel like he definitely wanted to go and move on and start his own project. I get it. Anything working with me is can be a challenge, as you guys know. Maybe I'm easier on this show because it's my show, but
you don't really have a lot of expectations for me. It's pretty easy.
I just feel like he wanted to start his own show for a while. He'd been talking about it for a while, and he did something on YouTube called the Dynasty Refinery for a bit, but it kind of fell by the wayside. And now, he's going to start his own podcast, which I think will be nice.
That's cool.
I don't really know anything about it. So
yeah, Cal's a cool dude. So I really do hope.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be the best for him. I think this is what he wanted.
Kind of doing it on his own time a little bit. Matters.
Yeah, I do think also that's part of it. He does have 4 kids and all that, so having to be there.
It surprises me that he has 4 kids. I could see him being younger than me almost, but it's what it is.
No, I think it'll be a good thing.
Yeah,
Addison will continue doing the show for the time being, although we haven't. There's no promises on that continuing into 2023 and beyond. So if that's the case, I'm going to continue the show no matter what. So I will replace him if I need to with new co-hosts. So you might notice that the chat is quiet today. If you're here, make sure to comment. I did try something which I might have to turn off because this is not a good start to this new innovation.
What'd you do?
I made it so that only people I didn't screw anything up. And honestly, I don't really care. I made it so only people who subscribe to the channel can comment in the chat.
I wonder how many people that aren't subscribed do comment. I guess I
do wonder. Apparently, yeah, seems like it's a lot. But yeah, if you subscribe to the channel, it'll give you the option to comment. I can probably mess with that to some degree. But yeah,
it might be that they're rooting for our United States men's national team.
I honestly think that is a huge factor. Like, to be completely honest with you, I think a lot of American sports fans, even though soccer's not popular here, they want to watch this game.
I'm definitely rooting for the U.S., but I had committed to being here, so here I am.
And I'm more important than the U.S. soccer team.
Than the whole nation of America.
I mean, when it comes down to it, it's just like football in general. In my scale of importance, it's
I don't know. People told me that I was the fantasy prophet this week. So,
is that IT or PHET? Both?
the Prophet, like with an E.
PHET.
Yeah. I don't know. People just thought that I was so great for my anti-Tony prediction. Because that was I don't know, man.
Was there an anti-Tony prediction?
Yes.
He just said don't start him.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that either. I had him at wide receiver 28. That's not predicting a goose egg.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy though. He had so little usage even before he went out with his hammy started acting up again. So it was a real injury, it seems, even in New York. So it wasn't just him being like, I'm out of here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people expected him to put up Juju Smith-Schuster numbers, the numbers he's kind of been putting up lately with him out of the lineup, Mecole Hardman out of the lineup. We are not really sure like which role he was going to play, the Juju role or the Mecole, or like some kind of hybrid, but it looked positive for him. So it's very disappointing and a little surprising that he didn't have a little bit more production. But the hamstring injury could have occurred at any point.
And then Watson stepped up in a big way. Justin Watson, kind of filled in, had some nice grabs for the team, stepped up. But man, that was a good game. And Keenan Allen finally is back. My goodness. And then Mike Williams, of course, makes an amazing catch, and then he goes out of the game again.
That's so classic, Mike Williams.
That's totally, that's him, Mike Williams, man. And he didn't even land on his back this time. He landed kind of awkwardly with his feet. But man, what a great catch that was. And then out again,
It's a shame. But then Josh Palmer. Yeah, like I think that's the lead kind of the Chargers offense a little bit. I don't think many people expected him to be good with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I mean, Mike Williams got knocked out, and that's a big part of it. But he looked good, right?
He looked amazing. I mean, Palmer, I haven't been like huge on him, but he's always kind of been like at a productive enough level where he's a good fill-in whether Keenan Allen or Mike Williams is out.
Mm-hmm.
But man, he looked really good last night. And I actually in a league that I'm in called like Sniper Active. It's kind of like a best ball scoring system. And I picked him up in a draft. Like every week there's a draft for people who get cut, every week.
You draft their players kind of. That's awesome. Actually.
And I picked up Palmer thinking maybe Mike Williams or Keenan Allen will be out. But man, I didn't expect him to have I think he had 30 plus points in that league because there's some.
Can I ask a question about that league real fast?
Yeah.
Does that include the waivers every week?
Yeah, so all the free agents that are there, and then the team that gets cut.
Just all their players go to the free agents pretty much.
So there's a weekly draft, but also there's a cool thing where the person that you play against, if you beat them, you take one of their players. So you steal one of their players.
It's a vampire.
Man, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's
like
a vampire
mixed with
exactly. It's a vampire league plus there's the drafting each week. So it's really cool. Ryan McDowell heads it up from DLF.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a lot of
because
fun.
You get to do a draft every week. Yeah, that in itself is pretty
but
cool.
It stinks for those who get
how many
knocked
teams
out
start
early.
though?
Yeah, so it's league. I forget how many teams are left now. I think we have 7 teams left. Yeah, so
it's
every
just
week a team's gone.
Last man standing kind of deal.
What's up?
Last man standing kind of deal.
Pretty much.
Lowest scorer gets kicked out, and
So every week there's an additional roster spot, and then starting 2 weeks ago we started cutting down one roster spot. So it's got a really cool system. It's probably one of my favorite leagues that I play in each year. Yeah, in terms of the redraft.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This is so sad.
Oh yeah, Wandale.
Yeah, he was looking really good.
Sucks.
Yeah,
it really does.
I had him in a couple taxi spots ready to, pop him out, but I'll just keep him down there. Obviously now.
I think now Darius Slayton is kind of a borderline 2-3 wide receiver the rest of the year. By the way,
yeah. I like Darius Slayton. Just looking at his stats, is freshman to sophomore year. But everyone is so down on him, and he was buried behind everyone on the Giants roster. I mean, Sterling Shepard when he was, healthy, even Kenny Galladay back when he was there. I feel like he's always been someone who's not really highly kind of sought after for some reason, but he produces, man, when he's on the field and given the opportunity. So, he's definitely someone worth a pickup if you're hurting at wide receiver.
Yeah. I like just he's the last man standing on the Giants offense, wide receiver wise. I mean, yeah, you look at the other names that are healthy: Richie James, Marcus Johnson, like Isaiah Hodgins.
I didn't even know
good
that
targets.
some of those names were on the Giants.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, he's a viable flex play, I think, throughout the year now, for sure. And he might have been anyways, but if Wandale took over, that would.
Yeah.
You don't want the number 2 wide receiver on the Giants, I don't think.
Daniel Jones.
He had a hell of a game, but I think it was a predictably good game.
Yeah.
Against the Detroit Lions.
And we're just cycling through all the
Giants
injuries.
didn't look good.
I know. There's so many.
But I mean, the Pitts one is like, it really
matters, right? I mean, what difference does it make?
Yeah. So, I mean, the sad thing though is on
Twitter.
Twitter
Now.
Yeah. The sad thing on Twitter is that people are kind of taking victory laps, like, see, he's a bust and that kind of stuff. And
he was a bust before it. He was a bust anyway.
He's got to be one of the biggest busts.
Tyler.
A 3rd-round pick.
He's the Dynasty. He's one. No. In redraft, you drafted him this year.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But
he's one of the biggest busts.
Yeah, but as a player, looking at his
I think you're both right.
Right, and then coming into this year, obviously he underplayed what people drafted him at. No, I don't think anyone should have been drafting him near Mark Andrews and Kelsey levels anyway in the first place. But this is another clear indicator: don't draft tight ends early unless it's
saying stuff like that going into the
Andrews.
Season.
Like pretty much.
You idiot! This is so freaking talented. Marcus Mariota back with Delaney Walker. Like
yeah.
Like you're right. We'll see.
But I mean, no one could have predicted Arthur Smith either, though. Being what he's been.
Yeah. I think you could have realized this was not going to be a high volume passing attack.
That's true. Even just with Mariota at the helm, I mean, you're not going to be throwing that much.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was projecting exactly what's going on with the Falcons, but that's the thing. The way their style of play is winning or doing decent in games for the talent that they have, like across the team. So you got to respect what Arthur Smith is doing for his team, I guess. In a way,
nah,
a little bit. It's extra fantasy. He's even like you can't even trust a running back there because it's
seriously, man. Dude,
well, they at least they got it down to a 2-way committee this week.
Yeah, dude, Cordero had to get into the end zone via
Caleb Huntley's no longer there.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what I was thinking. Even if it was a 2-way committee, I don't know if you could trust anyone there. Even Cordell Patterson. I mean, he's going to be starting a lot of leagues, but I'm nervous for him.
Yeah, for sure. Zach Moss got some run in Indianapolis this week. Very little bit. He might be the backup to have if JT goes down.
I think it's still Deion Jackson just because, I saw him out there for a lot of pass catching work as well. I'm not looking at the stats in front of me, but I just think he'll definitely be the most valuable running back. Maybe he's less valuable because of Zach Moss if JT were to go down.
Yeah,
but
they'll probably share it a little bit more.
Exactly. But I think Deion Jackson's the guy to manage on your roster if you have JT, if you want to have a handcuff.
For sure.
Zach Moss. I like Zach Moss coming in the league.
If you want to see the Riddler, I mean, you can always watch Batman.
So stupid.
That was pretty good. Good.
This.
I had to read this comment. I was like, wait, what is he talking about?
This is what happens. This is what happens when you leave, there aren't that many comments in the chat and there aren't that many people watching. I just talk about whatever I want.
I was watching on Sunday and I saw Mariota get hit really good. I was like, oh, is that serious? And he was fine. He got it slow, but he was fine. I was like, maybe we could see some of the Riddler.
Tough after they won, though. They won.
Yeah.
No. Marcus Mariota's the starter.
Mariota's the starter the rest of the year. I feel bad that my Bears put that hit on. I mean, it wasn't intentional, obviously, but knocking Pitts out. Man, the Bears, and then Fields went out. Man, I hope his shoulder's okay.
It looks like he's okay, but
thank you. I'm here all day.
It's a little concerning because he just might run less. I guess maybe you have a shoulder injury. You don't want bang into someone, right?
I think I saw. I think he's top 10 in rushing yards in the league right now, or something like that.
He's got to be. I believe that 100%. Yeah.
You know, the thing I like about Fields though is, you know, when you watch him play, you know, a lot of people talk about like athletic quarterbacks that almost look immediately to just jet and run. But like Fields really does continue to keep his eyes down the field, and he wants to pass first if there's something. I mean, obviously, unless it's a designed run for him, like a QB run. But I've been so impressed, man. Like over the last, like obviously 4 weeks or so. I do hope that he comes back, you know, ASAP, able to play, and that his shoulder doesn't hurt him too much. But man, he's been really good. And of course, Mooney, you know, against Atlanta, you know, he's going to get a touchdown. So that was good.
Yeah. Kind of like wish, like, you know, Lamar Jackson was more, as a Ravens fan, he was definitely more of a, you know, I see an opening on my run, you know, 2019 year when he was MVP. He's not doing that as much, and you kind of want to see that from your quarterback, right? You want to see him sit in the pocket and look at the field. It's just we don't really have the weapons right now. It's like sometimes I feel like there are opportunities where you could just take it and make something happen. But it's a contract year for him. You know, he's trying to prove he's a great passer. He is a really good passer.
Like every time he puts himself out there, he's endangering his like whole career, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I've said this in the past. I kind of related a little bit to Dak Prescott, and I know Dak Prescott isn't a runner like Lamar Jackson. Sure. And you know, if Lamar had a Dak Prescott type injury, it probably hurts his value a little bit more. But Dak Prescott got a giant, massive contract the year after he was out for the season. People were worried about him. Someone's going to sign Lamar Jackson. It's going to be the Ravens, even if he does get hurt.
Yeah,
I think even if he has a season-ending injury, it doesn't change the amount of money he gets too much. Maybe less guaranteed money, which is what he's looking for. So
sure. Yeah, I mean,
I totally forgot
him playing.
I totally forgot we even have this.
What?
Haven't used it in a while because we've had too many people on the stream.
Oh, it only works with background thing. Oh, the three.
I have a 4-person one, but it's a little bit more complicated to use.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Oh, wait, put up a comment real fast. Does it get weird with comments?
Oh yeah,
that's the problem. That's the problem.
We should just do it like that.
Oh well, no. Oh well. Whatever.
That was a good question though that you put up, Eric. You know, how do we feel on Rachaad White rest of the season moving forward?
How do you feel about it, Josh? Because I think we talked about it a good amount, like on DLF last week. I think Tyler and I would like to get how you feel about him.
So I still think that it's Fournette's backfield. I know the numbers don't support that from the last game. You know, Fournette went out with injury, but you know, White was getting a bunch of snaps before that. But I think if they're really going to make a run, I think that Brady still trusts Fournette probably more. And so I think it's still his backfield, but it looks like they're really looking to work White in, you know, so I think he'll have some standalone appeal, but ultimately will need like Fournette to just not be able to play, I think, to really, you know, obviously get the opportunities that people want him to get. So I don't think that if Fournette is healthy and ready to play, that it's just going to be like Rachaad White being the man and then like Fournette just kind of coming in here and there. You know, I can't see that happening.
I think, and I don't want to speak for Tyler, but I think.
Well, nobody would ever dare to do that.
I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't even try to do that.
No one would ever dare.
But I think
bad things might happen to you. I might have to replace you.
I've tried in the past. And you're like, no, I didn't say that.
Fake news. Right. Fake news.
Are you guys going to fight about Swift again and where he's ranked?
Well, no, we always actually. The problem is that there's always a fight. There's always a fight because it all goes back to J.K. Dobbins. That's what it goes back to. There's always a problem.
Number one running back.
Well, no, but there's always going to be a fight because I just have a vendetta against J.K. Dobbins. Totally a vendetta.
He's a good running back, man. Just get him out there healthy.
He's a liar. He's a liar. He's not a good running back. So he actually tells a lot of lies.
He's gonna be a top 20 running back next year. Mark my words.
I think he'll be a top 20 running back in the XFL next year. How about that?
Damn
In
it.
the XFL,
No,
he'll be. You didn't say
no,
which
Tyler.
league. You didn't say in the NFL. You just said
I
top
did
20.
not. I didn't even
the
say
XFL
what
is
he's
a
going to
good
be
place
top
for him.
20 in. It might be top 20 in fumbles, top 20 in.
Well, Melvin Gordon actually has something to say about that. I think
He's not going to get an opportunity to have
Probably
that many
not.
next year.
No, dude, come on, guys. Melvin Gordon is going to get signed easy somewhere, man. Picked up.
Why? No,
Why?
I mean, he is, but
started,
he's so bad.
Maybe he'll get like 5 carries a game, but I think that's like his upside.
Well, I mean, it depends on the situation that he gets into, but obviously it's not good that he got
This picture
waived.
of him with his green hair, he looks like a carrot in the he does. He looks like a carrot in the Broncos orange jersey. The jersey is orange, his hair is green. He literally looks like a carrot. I don't know. I don't know if I want a carrot on my football team. That doesn't
Yeah, I mean, we all know
good.
what happened with Carrot Top. Not very good. So
wow, he has a lot of problems.
yeah, a lot of things going on over there. So Carrot Top probably not a good thing.
Back to the Rachaad White conversation. I think
but that was better. That was a better conversation.
I think we're kind of the same as you. I'm kind of the same as you, but like opposite. I don't think
Ryan,
it's necessarily.
you're here.
Yeah,
we're bombing.
Ryan,
we need you,
Ryan. I don't think it's Rachaad. I think Rachaad White is now my preferred back in that backfield.
I agree.
But I still think it's a split.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a split.
All right,
I'm not
I will wake up.
with Rachaad White.
I will wake up and.
All right, tell us what you have to say, Tyler.
Well, no, I just mean I feel like I've been sleepwalking through the first half of the show. Well, I hope it's not the first half, but I don't know. Man.
It's gonna be a short show today, guys.
It's a possibility. More messages in the chat, the longer the show is gonna be.
Obviously.
So I don't know. Rachaad White. They're gonna give Leonard Fournette some carries. I think you just reverse it. You kind of reverse what you thought before. You put Rachaad White, whatever you thought of Leonard Fournette before, and Leonard Fournette, whatever you thought of Rachaad White before. And that's kind of what it is.
I do agree to Josh's point that Leonard Fournette's going to be involved. And I think Tom Brady still trusts him to an extent. But I just really do think Rachaad White's going to be out there a little bit more than Leonard Fournette going forward. So they're going to be eating into each other, So it's...
So win now Dynasty team, 2024 second or Leonard Fournette?
Second. I don't want Leonard Fournette at all.
Yeah, even if on the win now team, like the thing is, like, I don't even know if Leonard Fournette helps you all that much. That
yeah, so you guys are out on him, it sounds like. I mean, why would I be in? If it's the reverse of what Rachaad White and Fournette have been, I still cannot see that happening. Like if they're both healthy, but we'll see. I mean, you guys are both smart, so
I like to think so.
I
think Leonard Fournette in a 1 quarterback league, and if you think it's going to be a late second round pick, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm fine with trading a late second round pick for Leonard Fournette if he needs a little bit of running back help. But I'm not even sure he's going to be it.
Has averaged 3 or fewer yards a carry in most of his games this year, including one where it was negative.
Rachaad White isn't averaging a lot of yards per carry either. It's more than Leonard Fournette. It's more, but he's not been efficient either. The whole Buccaneers running game has been bad.
Yeah.
So Rachaad White has been better recently. That's why we're excited.
Recently, I mean, but what matters more? What happened recently or a long time ago? What happened a long time ago doesn't really do me any good.
Over the course of the season, we take
right, but Rachaad White has been improving as the season's been going on, and Leonard Fournette has been getting worse and worse.
And so that's the problem. From a rookie, right? So
exactly, but that's what I'm saying.
I'm on your side here, Tyler.
Yeah, but I just like to argue. And interrupt whether you're on my side or not.
It's funny because it's like we have differing opinions, but like I'm just watching you guys like debate each other about.
This happens. I feel like way too often. We're like debating something, and it's like this much difference between it. It's like no, he'll get 4 catches. No, 3 catches this week.
Hey, but I'm on Tyler's side about Dobbins though. I mean, I love him as a
running back. Listen, I am
he's capped though.
I know I'm above and beyond on Dobbins' take.
The injuries thinks, like. So
listen,
I don't think
I know my Dobbins take is a little ridiculous, Josh. I'm not.
Hey, he was Javonte Williams before Javonte Williams.
He's trying to get under my skin right now. All right, that's why he brought up J.K. Dobbins. All right, he knows I like my.
If I were trying to get under your skin, I would say that your hair looked bad today.
That doesn't bother me. I
Hey,
do
that's
play
not
with it a lot on
nice.
stream.
Well, I
try to
didn't
make
say
sure
that
it's, like,
though. I said that's what I would say if I was trying to get under his skin.
yeah. Your hair is
Clever.
weird too, bro. Yeah, I got
Well,
you.
I didn't do my hair today, so it's just kinda-
Ryan's hair is killing it like always, though.
And Ryan's bed is made.
Yeah,
Nice.
no bed comments.
I would never want my bed in the background of my stream. Just
Yeah,
because
I wouldn't either.
it would always just be a mess. Like I would just be like.
I don't know
worrying
why
about
you
it
do
too
that,
much.
Ryan. That seems like a
I'm
bold.
I'm not trying to judge you for doing it, Ryan. I'm just saying I couldn't do it.
No, I'm not
Because
judging
I have my
you. I'm
computer in
just
my
saying.
room. Where else am I gonna put my computer?
Is
Put it-
blue your
Turn it
favorite
the other
color,
way.
Ryan?
I don't think he
No.
likes blue very much.
It's not.
It's not.
Sure. Okay,
What-
bro.
What happened to
I'm
your
stuck
room?
with it, I guess.
You've got a blue shirt on, man. Like
Oh, okay, that wasn't planned.
just a
but
teal or
you
it
should
could
have
be.
saw this
You could
room
argue
before I
that's a
moved. It
green.
was like
I think.
orange and green. Like
I love the combination of blue and orange. When people ask my favorite color, I say blue and orange.
Are you saying orange?
Everyone, I get made fun of for the way I say orange.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm from the Midwest originally, so I say like all my long and short vowels very kind of like dramatic, like
Orange.
octopus,
Orange.
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 Yeah, you say orange. Oh, okay.
Orange.
How do you say water?
The classic Baltimore way to say water is water.
Oh,
But I say water.
okay.
So it's a little different.
Nobody in Baltimore talks like that.
Water.
that seems like a Philly thing.
Yeah.
No, it is people like making fun of it. It's deep in Baltimore though. It's like
Yeah.
maybe like not even Baltimore. It's more like the outskirts of the white trash parts of Baltimore, I'll say.
That's not
Which I'm not far away from, to be honest with you. I'm right in the meat of it.
Hey, I mean, look, I resisted it. You left me a very good opening to say something really nasty, and I didn't say it. I'm so proud of myself.
Wow.
I don't know what you were saying. I'm out of here. I already said enough.
There might have been tears afterwards, I'm sure.
What? Did I like wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning? I thought I woke up in a pretty good mood.
I woke up in such a daze. I was like,
Yeah, I think I'm just like, I don't know.
I drank a
Sometimes-
little bit last night. I got a little drunk last night.
Oh, wait, tell us
That-
more. This is what
There's
happens when
nothing
you don't
to
put
tell.
questions.
It's not like there's a good story behind it. I
Oh,
was
well,
sitting.
I-
in
Is
Yeah,
that because the
there could've
Ravens struggled with the
been.
Panthers? Is that why you
There
drank?
could have been. I don't know.
No, I was drinking for the Ravens game. I had like 4 or 5 drinks during the Ravens game, so I was already drunk midday. So like, what am I supposed to fall
That sounds
asleep
like a
or
fun
keep going?
day. What?
Like,
That
yeah,
sounds like
like
fun.
my buddy came over. We had some friends over.
Yeah.
We had some fun,
That sounds fun.
Ravens.
No, I don't know.
The Ravens game was so weird.
Been a while
Yeah,
since I-
that was a very weird game.
Very
it was
windy.
very weird.
Yeah.
Like
very
it's like
windy.
off. It's like everything was turned on all Madden.
Oh,
like
yeah,
offense-
That
was
is actually a really good
That's
way
so
to put
true.
it.
That's
like
a good
offense was
analogy.
just turned off.
Yeah.
Like
that-
everything
yeah.
was a disaster. It's like defense sliders were all the way to the maximum, and offense
Yeah.
sliders were all the way to.
The thing
it
is,
can't
like,
function.
it was like 3-0 at halftime, but I was like, the Ravens are definitely winning this game. But like,
Yeah.
I wasn't like 100% sure, but I was like, I wasn't worried either. It was just so weird,
I mean, what the high scorer of the entire match was the Ravens defense, and then second is
Demarcus Robinson.
Here, wait.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Like you want to hear about
He had a really good game.
I'll read. You want me to read you Baker Mayfield's statistics for
Oh,
this year?
So bad, man.
It's really bad. Yeah. So he's completing
so bad.
55.6% of his passes. He has 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He's averaging one of the worst yards per attempt in the league. He's getting sacked constantly. He can't do. Oh, sorry. That name that I was reading, that's actually Zach Wilson, not Baker
I knew it.
Mayfield.
I came in time for the Zach Wilson rant. Yes.
I got a little confused. They were so similar. I
That-
read the Zach Wilson statistics by mistake.
That quote that he said that he answered no to was
told
Oh
you I
my
was
god,
prepared.
Ryan. Oh my god, Ryan.
I just needed
Like,
us to talk about Baker Mayfield so I could do that
I am
joke. But I was
like-
prepared for that joke before we started.
I was already out in Zach Wilson, but now I'm just like, fuck.
Wait,
screw
here.
you,
Ask
man.
me about if it's my fault that the views on this show are low.
Is it your fault, Tyler?
No, it's not my fault. Actually, it's everyone else's fault. It's everyone else's
is
fault.
The,
The
is
world-
the rest of the team disappointed?
Yeah,
because,
everyone
you
else.
haven't
It's all the
even-
rest of you. I'm doing it. That's how bad it would be. That's how bad it is.
I
It's
got
like
here
if the
late,
wide
oh no.
receivers would just get open.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm pretty sure it's Elijah Moore's fault because he's just terrible. So
If he wasn't talking so
just-
much about everything,
yeah.
He
I think
had a
everyone's
down
morale
on
went
that.
No,
down.
Yeah,
Garrett
Garrett
Wilson
Wilson.
now.
Garrett
Garrett
Wilson
Wilson is
came
getting
out.
in on the fun.
Yes,
with
he
that.
Oh,
is.
really? I missed that.
Garrett
Oh,
Wilson
geez.
said something. I forget what it was. I would be summing it up, but basically, like they need to trust us, our wide receivers. Pretty much.
Yeah, he says coaches have to put more trust in the receiving room, and he says there's a lack of accountability. I wonder. Wait, there's
Really a direct
more.
reference.
There's more. He says it starts in practice. It's unacceptable. There's more. We were unprepared for the game. Unprepared. The coach. It starts in practice coaching, so he blames the coaching, and yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
It does sound like he's going after the coaching more than Zach Wilson, but Zach was little nudges at Zach. It's like, you too, Zach, bro.
Yeah. It was just, I was so confused when I was reading the stat line. It looked like it could have been Baker Mayfield, but just was Zach Wilson instead. An honest mistake.
Mayfield didn't fare much better, right?
No, Mayfield was actually even worse.
Yeah, he had less than 200 yards. He had 2 interceptions.
Mayfield turned it over twice.
Yeah.
The Ravens defense is playing outstanding.
Really
So is
Dude,
the
I'm
Patriots.
not trying to make Baker
The
Mayfield sound
Patriots
better,
defense
guys.
is really good. as well.
Roquan Smith just, stepped in and
I'd
just
actually say the
Roquan
Patriots
Smith
defense is
is-
better than the Ravens defense. Patriots defense has been completely locked down this year.
Yeah, the Ravens defense has just gotten a lot more healthy lately
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Patriots defense, they're probably my number one defense throughout the season.
Dude,
Uh,
Matt
The
Hudon,
Eagles
or is
and
it
the Bills
Judon
are
or
still
Hudon?
there.
the
Matt
Patriots have a
Judon.
pretty good schedule too, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
The Bills are just
The Bills now after yeah.
yeah.
But they haven't
They're
been
good for a
playing
lot
as
of
well.
sacks. Turnovers.
They haven't been playing as well though. They
They
haven't,
did
like,
most
been
of that in
putting up
garbage
points.
time, though. the Browns
It
did.
depends on garbage time is also a thing.
Yeah, but the Browns were like Jacoby Brissett was like the number 2 quarterback on the week.
Yeah.
right?
He put up,
I
like,
understand
34.
that, but it was
I know it wasn't
It wasn't good.
Jacoby
I mean-
Brissett has played much better than I ever expected he would be.
no, he hasn't.
Yes, yeah. I just didn't think he'd be able to put up a 300-yard game, pretty much.
I saw
So
this too.
it's the first 300-yard game he's had in like forever. It's the first one he had all year.
He looked decent in this game. I think
He's been fine. Other than, like, honestly, this is his best game statistically.
that's kind of my point. I don't think he should be a locked and loaded starting
just
quarterback
okay.
going forward in his career. It's just he's better than I thought going into the season.
He's
That's
just
all.
okay. He's just okay.
He can win games, and going into the season, I thought.
But
he
this
was
is one of the best.
only a game manager.
Yeah.
Just that's all he could do. And
Who we
now
talking
I have
about
a
here?
Well,
slightly
he's
better-
only managed to win 3 games.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's not. Deshaun Watson's coming in, and maybe Jacoby Brissett will get a backup job next year somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think we pile on the Broncos every week, well, for good reason. Saw something yesterday. Yeah, where the Wilson is still using the Seahawks audibles, and team has no idea what to do. Well, the problem is that Nathaniel Hackett didn't come prepared for this week's
Yeah.
game. He wasn't prepared.
He hasn't
Again. Every week is unprepared. Every week, it's a new reason why he's totally unprepared to coach. So this week, there was a new problem. Despite the fact that he was playing the Raiders, the Broncos offense was unprepared. And they thought,
they should have done so well against the Raiders.
well, they didn't do so well. So they
No.
thought that giving Latavius Murray 17 carries, which he turned into 49 yards, would be the solution to all of their problems. But it didn't solve anything. And then, in overtime, how many yards was the closest defender to Devontae Adams? It was many, not like you looked in the frame. There was nobody in coverage. Where was the assignment? This is not, some random receiver. This is Devontae Adams, where he just disappeared in the defense, just vanished somehow. No Darren Waller, no Hunter Renfrow. There's
literally
nobody else
all you have to
about.
worry about.
He just
All you have to worry about.
disappeared.
Josh
And
J
was wide
running
open.
running the football. Josh Jacobs, sure you have to worry
I
about
will
that
say,
too.
Denzel Mims was that wide open on a downfield route, and Zach Wilson looked at him. He looked. Denzel Mims was running through. There was a gap. There was no safety over the top. Zach Wilson looked, and then he tucked it and ran. So he turned down a 70-yard touchdown that any NFL quarterback should be able to throw for nothing. So, maybe not every quarterback would complete that pass, but Derek Carr is a lot more competent. But anyway, there's nothing. Of course, we pile on the Broncos. Of course, Nathaniel Hackett is one of the worst coaches ever. You might say, "Oh, Urban Meyer" or whatever, but nobody thought that Urban Meyer's Jaguars would be good. People would say, "Oh, they might win 6 games," and they won 2. Well, Matt Nagy, at least made the playoffs 1 year. So that was something.
The Browns coach, like 6 years ago.
Freddie Kitchen.
Freddie Kitchens. Oh, I still love Freddie Kitchens.
That's not even what I'm talking about.
But he,
Really?
Rob Chudzinski.
No,
he was also
one
bad.
that they gave like 2
Hugh
and a half
Jackson.
years. Hugh Jackson. And
Josh,
he won like one game
bad
every year.
Browns
They gave him, like,
head
2.5
coach
years.
is very vague. There are
But
so
Hugh Jackson,
many of them. We
I
could
think
go
was,
for
like,
all
known
of them.
for
So
being
that's
the
very
worst
vague.
ever.
We need to be a lot more
Like he has the
specific. They're
worst
all bad.
win percentage ever. Hugh Jackson, I think.
Well, Hugh Jackson is like the worst of the worst. But
They gave him like 2.5 years, and he won like 2 games in that time period.
well, he did win 2 games. That was something.
So how many million did he make per win? That's the question.
A lot, yeah.
Way
Nathaniel
too
Hackett
much.
is really bad. It's all bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
Yeah,
no hope.
Do you think he should just be fired now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
hey,
Wait,
US
I said he should
scored.
be fired weeks ago.
Yo, scored. They're up 1-0.
US is up 1-0
Let's go.
against Wales. Sorry, World
Well,
Cup news.
I do think next week is against the Panthers. If they lose that game, I think it has to be over, right? It has to be over. They lose to the Panthers. That's embarrassing. The Panthers did not look like an NFL team this week. They were not ready for that game. If Denver somehow loses the Panthers, because after that, next would be the Ravens and then the Chiefs. It really gets much easier. So I think it would be I think it's already time for a new head coach. I said that after I don't know which one. The first loss to the Raiders was bad. How about the loss to the Colts? The time that they blew the game against the Jets, that was a good opportunity to fire him. Then they managed to squeak out a win against the Jaguars to save his job. And then next week against the Titans, it was another disaster. And then this one was almost top of the list for how embarrassing it was.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
We could rag on the teams that gave up their picks all day, honestly. Like,
If they could score 18 points a game, if they scored 18 points a game, they would be 9-1. Just 18 points in every game, they'd be 9-1. Think about that. Think about how bad the offense must be. That all they need was 18 points a game, and they're 3-7.
So dumb.
Yeah, and luckily, if they want to cut Russell Wilson after 2025, they'll still owe him $31 million. So, yeah. So after 2025, they'll still owe him $31 million. So that looks really great.
Hey, he's gonna bounce back, man.
No, he won't. No, he won't.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Russell Wilson, literally, his head could not be farther up his own ass. He can't see anything. That's why he's unable to read the defense, because he is the egomaniac of all ego. He makes me look modest. He makes me look like one of the most modest people, because he's literally one of those people where if it goes right, it's all because of him. And if it goes wrong, it's not his fault.
But
that's what he is. That's what he says.
He didn't say that. That's just what people assume.
See, that's the thing. He's one of those. It's obvious. It's starting to come out from everyone who's ever played with him. People who are playing with him now. It's starting to come out now that they're not under his thumb. Well, how they really feel about him is that he says all the right things in public. He says all the right things, but he doesn't really mean it. He doesn't really mean it. He wants the credit for everything, and he wants to be like the savior. He wants all of that, and that's why everyone hates him. Everyone who's ever coached him hates him. Everyone who ever played with him, all his past receivers, they all hate him. He's terrible.
I don't know. I feel like people are too hard on him. Like he's like one of those cookie cutter guys that like people who are kind of edgy like to look at and say, "Nah, I hate that guy."
I'm not too hard on him. If he were a rookie or a second-year player and he was just developing into the league, yeah, maybe. He's getting paid $245 million. I'm not too hard on him. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. He's being paid $245 million. Excuse, I don't care. You
I
should.
think
You have to be
I
better.
was surprised coming out of the bye though, like last week, that they looked so bad.
Why?
I mean,
What is so surprising? If they're doing the same thing over and over again, why would
Yeah.
it change?
I thought they'd be more prepared, you know. But
Well,
like
they're
you
not
said, the
prepared
coaching
because
is
their
terrible.
coach doesn't prepare them. to
Hackett
play.
is a failure, like Toronto
The
Dave
coach
said.
has not prepared them for any of these games all year. Why would they be prepared for the next one? Why would it change? That's the thing, is why would it change?
Yeah.
They've been unprepared.
I just think that I don't count out Russ as a quarterback yet, but definitely right now with the
He looks
system
washed
he's
up
in
to
and
me.
the coaching.
Tell you.
Yeah.
The offensive line's playing very poorly
Yes.
as well.
Who's playing well on the offense? Who's been good?
No one. No.
Melvin Gordon.
Well, and now he's gone.
And he
No,
wasn't
I
playing
do
well.
think that Cortland Sutton has been somewhat of a productive player. You know, on
He's
the,
been
on
a
the team.
disappointment too.
He
like,
has been a bit of a disappointment.
Considering
very
how much
disappointing.
time Jerry Jeudy has missed, if I had told you that Jerry Jeudy was going to be this in and out of the lineup and this ineffective, I think you would have thought that Cortland Sutton would be better. Not just averaging 4.6 catches and 61 yards a game. That's okay.
Yeah, it's
That's
decent.
okay, but that's a disappointment.
Yeah,
It's a
but I mean,
disappointment
Judy.
considering
I never
how
thought that Judy
ineffective
was all
Jeudy has
that great
been.
either, though. To be honest.
Yeah, but the thing is that even though he hasn't been effective, when he plays, he takes
did
away
get
from Cortland
targets,
Sutton a lot.
yeah.
But he's missed a lot of time. So
Yeah.
considering that he's missed so much time, you would have thought that Cortland Sutton would be a lot better. And
100%
he hasn't
agree.
been. He has not delivered.
Agree.
He's also been inefficient, although he's been inefficient his whole career, really. That's no different.
He's
So
a big play guy, right? I mean, that's kind of what he is.
Yeah,
He's
he is a
player.
big play guy. He doesn't average a lot of yards per target, nor does he catch a lot of the passes he's thrown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's averaging 13.3 yards a catch. I mean, that's not like a deep threat of all deep threats.
Sure.
Like it's a
high.
lot, but it's not. You know, we're not talking. I don't know, like Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman in the past, like Marquez Valdes-Scantling, someone who really is only that. I don't agree. I don't agree with this one at all. At all. I think they've tailor-made their offense around Justin Fields. They unlike incompetent Hackett, Eberflus actually decided to change the offense. It was a good thing. He changed the offense. He realized that he didn't have, Justin Fields is a bad passer. He's bad. He's bad, and he's always been bad. No, he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good. So we'll see if he becomes good, but he's been bad. He's been bad, and he was bad when he was good for fantasy too. He was still a bad passer.
He's making better decisions lately.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
he's
yes,
turned
the
corner
decision
with-
is that he's not throwing the ball. That's unfortunately the reality.
And when he
is-
does, he's doing a decent job lately.
Yeah.
not really.
I think that's part of it, though. I mean, in terms of percentage and things, I think everything's been improving over the past 4 weeks.
It's
but
been
it
better.
is because I think it is because of the offensive scheming change to tailor to Justin Fields, but also, you're right. The volume is kind of where it should be, where he doesn't have to be
Well, they're
throwing
lowering
1,000
it.
times a game, right? Yeah.
They're lowering the volume. They're not letting him throw down the field at all, which is good because he's incapable of doing that.
Oh,
And
I mean, I don't know.
he's
That's
terrible.
good.
He's terrible.
They
at
did
throwing-
miss Mooney on that long.
Yeah,
terrible.
I know.
Yeah.
terrible at
Yeah.
throwing down the field. Terrible. I mean, if he were good at throwing down the field, he would not have a top passing mark of 208 yards in a game this year.
Okay,
He
but
can't
at the
throw
same
down
time,
the field. He's
we
not good at
I mean,
that.
I'm a Bears apologist, obviously, because I'm a fan, but we don't have the weapons to do that right now either. The weapons, the line has
He's
not.
not
been
good
very
at it anyway.
To give him time to do.
There have been
something
multiple
like that.
times where receivers have been wide open, including this week where he missed them,
He
or
did
the
miss
throws were
pretty badly
bad.
on that one.
He just isn't good at that, and that's fine. But I'm giving them credit
Yeah.
that they have tailor-made it. You can succeed with the offense that they have put him in. You can succeed with that. So I don't agree that they're just using him to get by, because they've remade. The new coaching staff has remade his entire. I guarantee you, this is not what they wanted to do. If it were up to them, they would probably run a more traditional offense. That's probably seems to be what they were more comfortable with, this coaching staff. I mean, Luke Getsy, right, is the OC. And didn't he come from Aaron Rodgers? And he came from the Packers, right? I believe. So that's, I'm pretty sure. So that's a traditional offense. Aaron Rodgers is a little bit mobile, but it's a traditional offense. You throw the ball. This offense is different. So give them credit that they've remade the offense. So I don't think you remake the offense around someone that you don't want to commit to.
I think
Right?
they're all
I mean,
in
that
on
wouldn't make
Field.
any sense. You would just stick with your scheme if you wanted to get rid of the guy you had. So
I kind of see where this person's coming from. Just like saying, it seems like the Bears are trading off assets that it can help them win, but it's not an offensive.
but then they
asset.
traded for Chase Claypool, which is also odd.
I completely disagree with this take. You know,
So do I.
Justin Fields is their quarterback. But I guess I could kind of see why
The
you're
trade
building that
for
opinion.
Chase Claypool makes no sense to me though, because he's a terrible.
They haven't
fit in
used
this
them at
offense.
all.
He's also a terrible fit in this offense.
He's also just not a very good receiver, so I was not very happy.
I agree with that also, but he's a terrible fit
They
in this
gave up a
offense.
decent amount for him too, right?
Yeah, we
And
gave
he's
up
also a
second.
malcontent who's gonna get mad at not getting the ball in an offense that doesn't want to
But
throw.
like
So
you got to try to get him the ball too. I think he's got to be on the field more. If you're gonna give up a second for him, you just
yeah,
gotta,
I don't
you gotta
get it. I
try
don't know
to
why
make
they
it work.
traded for him.
Yeah, and they're not even using him. So
I don't. Yeah,
very strange.
It just made no sense. Of the teams that were interested in him, this is the one where he.
I
fits
know
the
the
least.
others made so much more sense.
Yeah, I don't get it. He should be in an offense with a quarterback who loves to throw downfield, who loves to throw contested balls.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think they want to try to help him in those situations. Maybe like
No, they don't want
throw
him
the
to do
ball
that.
up to him.
They don't want
I
him to
think
do that. They don't want him to throw downfield.
I think they want to help him in these kinds of situations. I don't know. I think that was their idea when they
Well,
brought him
it's already failing.
Yeah.
So it's now wasn't.
in. They're not playing him, so obviously.
Well,
so maybe there's
no.
a
It's
coaching
difficult
staff
to do that if
GM
you don't play.
controversy, right?
But I mean,
Maybe.
speaking on the Bears too, I mean, obviously the run game is a big part of our offense. It's good to see David Montgomery, producing, but it's sad to see Khalil Herbert go on the IR.
I know.
He was
That was brutal.
flashing here and there, and putting in some very efficient yardage whenever he was in. So I was sad to see him go down for sure.
He's a more electric running back than David Montgomery. I bet he's their starter next year. So for
See, that's the
Dynasty-
thing that I don't know about, because his pass pro, I think his rating for pass pro is not very good. That's one of the reasons why he doesn't see as much time as Montgomery. And Montgomery should be relatively cheap, to keep.
You think the
around.
Bears are going to re-sign Montgomery?
I think it depends on how
I
much
just really
it'll
doubt
cost,
that. Yeah.
So I
If
think
he's really
keep
cheap,
it up,
then
there's no reason to not keep him around.
fine.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll bring in someone. I have this pretty strong feeling that Khalil Herbert will be the leading carrier for the Bears next year.
That would be fine by me. I've got him on a few dynasty teams, so but I don't see it quite. But I would sell like that if I.
I mean,
could.
you're the Bears fan, so
Yeah.
I
I mean, that doesn't make me the expert, though. I mean,
I know,
my eyes are
but
clouded sometimes.
you're watching it a lot more. But Khalil Herbert looks the best. Like when he gets the ball in his chest, he kind of looks the best with the ball, right? Like this.
I
this
mean,
season?
Montgomery's never been a very flashy guy.
Yeah.
I think he
does what you ask of him, kind of deal. Yeah.
So
And he's a good pass catcher and pass protector. So
pass pro is, I think,
agree.
going to be the biggest thing if Herbert can improve there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of that draft class, we have to talk about free agency with another guy soon, with Josh Jacobs, who's
Yeah.
been
Yeah, we haven't
breaking
talked
this
about him at
season.
all.
He's going to get signed.
He's
Who?
gonna get signed
Who is-
somewhere, and the Raiders might, blow it up and trade away Devonta Adams again. I heard that's a possibility. Release Derek Carr is a possibility.
What?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
he
heard
won
they
this
released
weekend,
Derek
so I don't
Carr
know.
thing. And if they release Derek Carr, then they're getting rid of Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
They could be starting over in Las Vegas. So I guess we'll talk about that later in the offseason when we get to free agency. But something to keep an eye on where Josh Jacobs goes, because
He's looked so good this year that he's
He
going
has
to go
looked really good.
somewhere.
He's looked really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's beating the odds.
Maybe he goes to the Broncos.
I mean, maybe,
Mm,
yeah.
no.
I don't know if I would want to if I was Josh Jacobs, but
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It'll be him and Javante, splitting carries.
I think there's a very good chance they could re-sign Josh Jacobs, though. I don't
Yeah.
see
I
that
think so.
as any sort of.
I mean, just
Yeah,
because they
they
didn't
didn't
pick up
want to
his
re-sign
option
if they,
doesn't mean that it was ruled out for sure.
it's that fifth-year option they didn't accept. And I know things have changed since they didn't accept that. He's looked better than I expected, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like he's out the door.
So I do feel like one thing I've noticed on my shows, and we're going to actually answer this question, but I've noticed this on my shows lately, and maybe this is trying to tell me something, is that I get away from fantasy football and start talking about real football more. Noticed that recently. I don't talk as much about fantasy football, I guess, as I have in the past. Definitely move in, talk about real football. I don't know. Maybe I just like football. But I will, I'll try to talk about some more like dynasty strategy and stuff. I know I definitely think the rants are just better when they're about real football. I like to bash on quarterbacks and coaches. But as a rebuilder, you have any player targets that you have that will increase in value between now and the offseason?
Pretty much every wide receiver under 25 years old and every running back that is like
Right, but
under 24 years old.
Sure, but to give them something better than that.
Well, like I literally think that's how it works. People want assets that are not, aging, especially in the offseason. No one wants to trade for
everyone's aging. So literally
29-year-old wide receiver.
I
just think
this question
right now,
is more like a sleeper kind of question, though. No, like someone whose value is kind of low right now, but that if you can buy in on, like their value might increase.
I mean, Breece Hall.
Yeah,
I mean he's still being sold. He's still being sold
Michael Pittman,
running back. So
Michael
Pittman is not a bad one.
Literally all the rookie wide receivers, like
every single
one that was drafted in the first 2 rounds. I think like,
Sky Moore's had kind of a window for a little bit where you could have bought lower than.
I think he was pretty freaking low right now.
Yeah, but I mean, after last night and showing up, like, kind of.
Did he do any? I know he had one catch I can remember. Like, did he put it together?
Like 5 for 63. I mean, it's not like
okay, that's better than I thought.
Yeah, but there's guys like him, or even Traylon Burks was another guy that you could have probably.
Now it's too late.
This.
I mean, when he blows up for 115 or however many yards, it's probably a little bit too late.
But Garrett Wilson, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, he's been so good too, though. Yeah.
I know, but like, I still think over the offseason his value increases. He just came off a bad game. Jahan Dotson. But I already said all the rookie wide receivers pretty much. I think right now Marquise Brown. I know we've been talking about him a lot.
I've been asking people to buy Jameson Williams for a while. Now I think it's
Jameson Williams, but now he came off the pup.
Yeah, so he's back at practice.
Now I think it's too late.
What about Elijah Moore?
Oh boy!
It will increase.
I would buy him for a third
from now to the all season. I bet.
I mean,
Elijah Moore is such a sad story to me.
Dude, I saw people making trades like crazy valuation of Elijah Moore. Like I think early on in the season, before people realized he's not going to be playing very much. Like I saw a trade in one league where it was like a 23 second, and Elijah Moore for Tyreek Hill. Like that's how high people were on Elijah Moore. It was insane. Yeah.
I got a great name for you guys. J.K. Dobbins.
Here we go.
Yo, I've been trying to. I had tried to sell him when he was kind of making a comeback, or like before he came back. Come on, he's gonna be back.
I literally made a video after his first game back where he scored 2 touchdowns, saying he was a sell high. So like,
I couldn't get anyone to buy. I mean, I only have him in one league, I think, but no one would buy.
Elijah Moore was not better in the game against the Patriots, but he did play over half the snaps.
I'm assuming he's going to get out.
Is better than Elijah Moore, so.
I mean, Kyle Pitts. Oh, sorry, Josh.
It will gain. His value will increase between now and the offseason.
Yeah, I would say buy Corey Davis.
No. No.
Do it. Do it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of too general of a question, I think.
Wan'Dale Robinson, he's going to be out for the year.
Yeah, how low are you going to be able to get him? It's weird. He had his breakout game in the same game he tore his ACL.
Khalil Herbert, we just mentioned him, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah.
To interrupt, but Khalil Herbert.
Well, Khalil Herbert, his valuation right now, at least like, so I don't use too many calculators and things like that, but I do look at KTC to kind of get like a little bit of a kind of a snapshot of like where people might be valuing like players. And Herbert, actually, I think they have him close to a second round pick already, because people are kind of envisioning that he could be the future on the Bears and things like that.
Sense.
But I don't know that there's many people who would necessarily buy for that right now. Although I'm sure there will be people who'd be willing to sell for that, right? So
all right, I got another one.
Hit us.
How about Gardner Minshew? Tyler brought him up a lot.
I have brought him up a lot.
Get out of Philly.
It will increase. You're absolutely right. Between now and the offseason, it will increase simply because of all the questions flying
Yeah,
around.
but will he actually start anywhere? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, not
That's the
sure
only
about
thing.
it.
It's a
Not
gamble
sure
you might
about
want to
that.
make. I don't know. I traded for him last week. I got him for a third. I'll take that gamble.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
gamble you might want to make.
Yeah, I would keep the third.
Me too.
Personally. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Swift to improve his stock so I can
Oh.
trade him. Okay.
See you in 2023.
So the thing about DeAndre Swift is he reminds me, and in Dynasty, DeAndre Swift is a sell low to me. You know who he reminds me of, actually? Miles Sanders. No, seriously.
Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
It's very
I
clear
kind of understand where you're
that
coming
the team
from there.
doesn't want him to have the big role. Now, Miles Sanders in year 4 is having a good season. Has the dynasty value come back?
No.
Not really.
It hasn't. And it won't.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift is the same thing. The draft capital was there. Honestly, he's probably going to be the Lions starter next year. But the value's not going to come back. The high-end upside is gone. He's not going to be what we wanted. And I think we all know that. He's not going to be that. After 3 years of not being it, you probably accept that that's not going to be the reality. So the value, as people are realizing it slowly, too slowly, I think Miles Sanders held the value for a while, and then it started to drop. And when it dropped very fast. And it never recovered. I would get out from DeAndre Swift now, mostly because I just think that it's just down from here.
Are you taking one of those aging running backs, like the 26-year-old running backs?
Well, I mean,
in the right situation, I guess.
yeah, I mean, if you need, if I'm rebuilding, I'm not going to take an aging running back off
Yeah.
the team anyway.
What about Saquon Barkley?
Well, Saquon Barkley, I have way higher than the others.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, if someone's giving me Saquon for Swift, dude, I'm like smashing.
I
so
don't
hard
care what my
computer
team looks
says
like. I have Saquon Barkley at running back 5, and I have DeAndre Swift at let's see, 6,
Probably in between those aging running backs, I'm assuming at this point. Maybe below him now.
14.
Where do you have him against Kamara?
I have
Do you have him
Kamara even lower because Kamara, again, I keep trying to tell people
The
doesn't look good.
suspension.
Doesn't look good. And yeah, he can't run anymore. His running game he doesn't have it. He can still contribute in the receiving game, but as a runner, he looks done to me. He looked done last year.
I made a trade. I don't have much Swift, but
And that team is putrid.
in one league, I traded Swift and a 24 second on a win now team, and I got Derrick Henry and Christian Kirk back, and I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I would take Henry and Kirk there.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's already proved to be good in terms of the dividends on that. So, but I mean that's kind of like what I would sell for. I still think that you can get very good value for Swift, and there's a chance he could. I mean, we can't just completely write him off because the talent is there. All that's missing is the volume. But there's just so many guys we talk about like that, often, right? Like even J.K. Dobbins, the talent is there, the volume just never there. Javonte Williams, everyone talks about the talent, just the volume. They did not want to give it to him.
I think Tony Pollard is like a good one but that's coming to fruition right now.
Yeah.
The thing about Javonte Williams is at least he was seeing something. Like it was starting to go kind of his way.
Well, was it? I mean, it was the only games
really.
that he had like the volume was when every other running back was pretty much out, right? He had a couple of starting games.
Yeah. It was ugly, but
Yeah.
he was getting more volume than Swift.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Jamal Williams. I mean, it's like is he
Jamal
a buy
Williams is
right
the
now?
best value. No, I don't think he's a buy, but he's probably the best value in a redraft league of anyone. I mean, who's a better value? Who paid off more in redraft? Like based on his draft cost? I mean, who paid off more than Jamal Williams? Who's
I'm
better?
not even sure where he was drafted in redraft.
He was like RB 39, 40.
Yeah.
I mean, who's been
I don't
better?
think there's anyone.
I don't think anyone has paid off like that.
Yeah.
I
Who's
just
drafted
I would
so
say
low and has been
you're
so good.
correct to an extent because I feel like people like Swift came back. People were like, I can't start Jamal Williams this week. Yeah, it just there's concerns, but as a scoring, you're probably right. Yeah,
Yeah, there's no one who's paid off like that.
Yeah.
Swift last game, he had 5 carries and 3 receptions. So I mean, 8 touches, and then Jamal Williams had 17 carries and 3 touchdowns. I mean,
like I said, DeAndre Swift is a sell low to me. In November's DLF ADP, November, not September, November, he was still RB8 and 19th overall in 1 QB, which is insane to me.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I think people are still attached to the talent and the hype.
Yeah, but it's over. It's over. I think people need to realize
youth and efficiency that people are looking at. I think
Yeah,
true.
But it's over, and he's only going to continue to drop. I think it's the kind of thing where it's like, would you rather have DeAndre Swift or Tony Pollard? I mean, it is a conversation.
Yeah.
The
rest of this year, you're gonna easily say.
Well,
Tony
the
Pollard.
rest of this year, it's Tony Pollard easily, but like,
Dynasty.
Yeah, I mean,
dynasty question.
I think it's the kind of thing where if they were the same age, I would definitely rather have Tony Pollard, but they're not, which does give like DeAndre Swift. I see it as almost impossible, but if he has a Saquon Barkley like revival, he's young enough that he can still get the high end value back, where Tony Pollard can't. Tony Pollard's already 25.
Yeah.
So he's not going to get that. So I could see in Dynasty, like I said, if they were the same age, I would prefer Tony Pollard, but they're not.
And you're basing that off of just, I mean, obviously on the field production and volume.
If they were the same age, then it's just the age doesn't matter, volume. And it's just rest of the career.
Who's doing better?
Whose career would I rather have? And I would rather have Tony Pollard's career, just in terms of fantasy points, whatever the rest of it is, versus the rest of DeAndre Swift's career, if I'm choosing between the two. But since they're not the same age, DeAndre Swift has that little bit of value upside still. And also the name DeAndre Swift, I still think, carries more dynasty value than the name Tony Pollard.
Oh, yeah, definitely. For sure.
Definitely.
Not that the name Tony Pollard is unappealing. I think people actually... Tony Pollard has one of the biggest fan clubs of anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with it. It's not a bad... There are some names like Miles Sanders or David Montgomery or Josh Jacobs that are unpopular, that'll hold the value down. I don't feel like Tony Pollard is in that group. I don't think he's unpopular.
But he probably is in that group,
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his numbers. I mean, he is one of those backs that, I mean, he's very explosive and he makes plays, obviously big plays. I mean, he showed it like this past week, but
last month.
I just don't see him. I just still don't see him as like being able to be the guy. Like,
well, he's gonna be the guy somewhere next year because he's a free
agent.
So?
I don't think. I know, but I'm saying I don't think he can be the lead guy somewhere still. I think he'll still be like, I don't know if he can handle it throughout the course of a whole season still. Like the looks that he gets when he's on the field, I think are different from like, even from Zeke, what he sees in terms of the box.
Tony Pollard is not as small as I think people think he is.
Well, I mean, he's under 210, so he's not
probably like 6 foot 210, right?
It's 6 foot 209 is what I see here.
I swear to God, I'm not looking at it.
See, he's not tiny.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not tiny.
Yeah, he's not.
I think he's someone who can handle. He definitely handle being a starter. Can he handle getting 20 carries a game? Maybe not. But how many running backs even do that now?
Yeah,
5 or 10. Like we're not asking him to be Saquon Barkley.
Although Saquon didn't look so hot this past week or this week,
really bad.
Yeah, that was surprising, man. I mean,
could Tony Pollard be? I don't want to say Austin Eckler because he's not that in the receiving game. I don't know what a good comp for what.
I don't think Austin Eckler's horrible.
Yeah, but he's not that in the
I understand.
Tony Pollard's not that good. I mean, he was good this week as a receiver, but I think that was a little bit of an outlier.
I think he was known as a pass-catching running back prior to this year, more or less. You know, like
Pollard. Surprisingly not, actually. Tony Pollard was not as much of a pass catcher, I think, as people think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he had a couple of broken plays on like terrible defensive matches.
Yeah, the perception is incorrect about Tony Pollard. He's never even averaged. He has not averaged 3 catches a game in any season. So the perception is wrong about Tony Pollard.
Well, I
Maybe
mean, a
like
lot of that too
a Kareem Hunt kind of player.
Yeah, I think he can be more than that. It's kind of like if the Kareem Hunt role were the starter. Like,
Well, yeah, going
Aaron
forward
Jones?
this season, I think
Maybe
he's
Aaron
been like
Jones?
almost a
could
Kareem
be an
Hunt his
Aaron
entire
Jones type
career.
player. Aaron Jones, I
like-
think, is actually a good
like
one.
Aaron Jones.
It's a good one. Someone who's explosive.
They're
Someone
probably
who's-
very similar size. I think Aaron
Someone
Jones is
who's
a little
probably
shorter,
very similar sizes. Someone who you can play him at the goal line. He won't let you down necessarily, but sometimes will be subbed out for Jamal Williams or AJ Dillon.
And just like we saw this way, Tony Pollard was watching the game. He had
Yes.
2 goal line carries. So I was like, oh,
He-
Zeke's done. And then he didn't get him, and Zeke came in and scored.
he's
So
good in the receiving game, but like Aaron Jones, I don't think Aaron Jones is a superstar in the receiving game, and he never has
that's
been.
fair.
Aaron Jones has been a little bit more productive, but he's also been a starter. He's never averaged more than 3.6 receptions a game.
Like
So,
I
as a
shared
starter.
a clip of like I think it was Chris Johnson and one other running back that were just kind of arguing about Pollard versus Zeke, and it was really funny to see 2 like professional running
Well,
backs.
there's no
talk
argument
about it.
now.
Yeah.
There's no
So-
argument now. I think the argument is finally, I think at the beginning of this year, there was a little bit, I mean, Zeke maybe looked a little bit refreshed at times, but I think it's over now. I think Zeke is washed. I think last year, actually, Zeke was better than I think people want to give him credit for. But this year, I think it's over. I think it's
You think this
over.
was his last productive season, is what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I think it's the kind of thing where the Cowboys are going to have to
The
make a
arrow's pointing
decision.
downwards, It just
Well,
like,
the arrow's
yeah.
been pointing downwards for Zeke since 2018. That
Well,
was
he
his
was a
best
top
year.
12 running
But-
back last year. He's been a top
Yeah.
12 running back every year of his career up until this year.
What
Yeah,
is
last
he
year-
right now? Even with
Probably
what he's
running back
at?
20 or so, 18, I would guess.
Yeah, but the thing is, he has 6 rushing touchdowns on 124 carries, so that's unlikely to hold up.
I don't know about that.
And also,
I think-
Zeke, one thing that has been very bad for Zeke is his role in the receiving game has vanished.
Yeah, it's dead.
Yeah,
Vanished
he's not
this
getting,
year.
Yeah,
I mean, Zeke
Passed
is
on
someone actually who, in his worst year, averaged 2.1 catches a game, so equal
Yeah.
to Pollard's best.
that's been a little bit surprising that they have
Zeke has been just phased
checked
out of
him
the
out
receiving
too
game
as much.
entirely. 8 games played, 7 catches, 37 yards.
But honestly,
So-
Zeke is, to me, Zeke is the type of player though that still has more years left in his
But
game.
but the floor's gone. If he's not getting any passing game work, the floor is gone with Zeke.
Yeah.
He has to score, otherwise he's going to kill you.
Yeah, but I mean, he's on a good offense to score.
Okay, but that's the other thing. Is what are the Cowboys going to do, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to keep both. They're not going to be able to keep Ezekiel Elliott on his, what do they owe him next year?
Oh, a lot.
of money.
They owe him, oh good, they owe him $16 million. But they'd only save $5 million by cutting him.
Yeah,
So,
Is that a pre-June 1st or a post-June 1st?
well, then they can spread the pain over a couple years. So they could save more by cutting him post June 1st. But the thing is that I don't know what they do.
yeah.
Do you think can they really afford it? They're stuck with 11.8 million on Zeke. You think they're gonna? I don't know. I feel like they're in a tough spot. They can't afford to franchise tag Tony Pollard.
Yeah, that would be like really weird too. With if they keep Zeke around and then they use a franchise on Pollard, that'd be kind of strange.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I don't think they're gonna do that. So I guess the question is, where could he sign? Teams really, who was the last free agent running back to get like a massive contract from another team?
To Marco Murray?
Le'Veon Bell, right?
That's way back. Man.
That's a way back. You have to go way back. I forgot about Le'Veon.
Le'Veon Bell
Oh yeah.
is one,
Marco Murray
like-
might be the one before that.
but it just doesn't happen. So it's the
Yeah.
kind of thing where, like, I don't know. I think the ideal would be if the Cowboys cut Zeke and move forward with Pollard.
Man, I just can't see that happening though. But who
I
knows?
mean, anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you that it seems not the
Jones
most
just
likely.
loves him so much. It's awesome, but also I'm not sure if it's a great thing for the team. Like I love Zeke still, and I think like him, even his game last, this obviously they were up by a lot, and so it lent itself to a lot more running. But I think that he can still produce at the goal line, obviously, as he can, and he can still be, first couple down running back for, maybe even several more years. Maybe not the super efficient, but he can do the dirty work and get some hard yards in the first few downs of a drive.
Yeah, but I think even in Dynasty, he might be overvalued. Like,
yeah, I mean, would you move him for a second right now easily?
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would for sure.
I would try to get a little more, probably.
I don't think he can.
Yeah. It just depends.
I mean,
Well,
name recognition.
I think the Cowboys probably regret the contract that they gave Zeke. It forced them to let Amari Cooper walk.
Man, Amari looked so
and they're
good.
paying for that one.
Yeah. But I really like it for Lamb. I mean, in terms of fantasy, like the targets that Lamb should have always been getting, he's finally getting, and he's done really well with it. So, I think that's great that Dak and Lamb can kind of have that that work that they're putting in together, and he can really be like the alpha there. Yeah.
Justin Fields is day-to-day. That just came in.
Oh, nice.
Left shoulder injury.
That's
On
great.
MRI. Rappaport says much more optimism. So there you go, Josh.
Yes, that is awesome. Thank goodness.
All right.
Yeah.
Toronto Dave has eyes football streamer
Or a celebration.
Celebration. Yeah. All right.
All right. Oh, 12 team Superflex PPR. Well, I live in a pool of regret if I move Brees. I love that. Brees 24 second and 24 third for Tyreek and Rashad White. Tyler says yes, I would. Hard to be rational these days. Any help is appreciated. Well, I did say that because I feel like when I don't know. I don't want to give up Brees.
Yeah, I mean, I really think this
Tyreek
would be
is aging.
situational. I mean, right? Obviously, this would be a situational move. If you believe that Tyreek Hill pushes you over the top with your loss of Brees this year to gain the points to put you in a position to win, and with White getting more playing time now on the Bucks, like it could be a move that benefits you for this season. And ultimately in Dynasty, I feel like too many people are too value based at times, where like they never
There's
win.
no such thing.
No, but trust me, my trades are all about extracting value as much as I can. But if you can make this move and win this season, like the goal of it is that you're going to at least at some point in your Dynasty like career have a championship. I think too many people are accruing value constantly and never winning. Like they're winning in the game of value per se, but like you got to sometimes put in some of your chips if you're going to actually win the championship that year. So I'm with you, Tyler. Like I think Brees he just looked so amazing, and I think his injury is not too worrisome for him to rehab and come back from. So it makes it a lot tougher there. But I think if you are win now and you feel that this really does push you above the other teams in your league, I wouldn't like fault you for it or like throw you into a pool of regret for you to like drown in. So yeah, it's not terrible, I don't think.
No, you said what I was thinking. I mean, like you said, if it puts you over the top and it wins you a ship, go for it. Honestly, you hit it right in the nose. There's really nothing else I could say besides that, because everyone plays for the value. I do all the time, and I have a couple of perpetual rebuilds that I keep rebuilding, and yeah, it's tough, but I agree. Joshua or other Josh, I have two Joshes here with me. I'm confused. The one that didn't answer already. What do you think about this?
I was kind of listening to what you guys were saying. Obviously I was away, so I hope I don't repeat anything. I might repeat something I think that Josh said a little bit. I do think that Breece Hall and it by himself has slightly more dynasty value than Tyreek Hill. And I heard you say, Josh, that you can't be always going for value. If you're going to win the chip, you got to go for it. Tyreek's obviously, Breece Hall's not going to play this year. Yeah. Tyreek's going to help you a lot more. That second and third round pick, they're not going to do anything for you this year. So
Yeah.
I think this is a fair trade. Rashad White adds enough to this trade to where I'm like, okay, at least I'm getting a young, high upside running back there. The second and third, I'm not in love with any second and third. I'm willing to throw those in the deals to get deals done, especially third round picks. Second, I know are valuable. So I'm fine with it.
And
having
Tyreek
said
looks
that,
so good, man. I mean, he and two. I mean, it's not like it's just this year and then like it's over. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be able to have Tyreek and Tua and also Waddle there in Miami. There's no reason to think that it's gonna stop all of a sudden. Like Tyreek,
name me a
wide
30-year-old wide receiver that's playing really well right now in the NFL. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to. Let me tell you that.
Because I don't know all the 30-year-old receivers.
I'm just telling you. Like Devontae Adams is 29, Tyreek Hill's 20, about to be 29, or Stephon Diggs 29. There's just not a 30-year-old wide receiver. He might have just turned 30. I know he's 29 going into the season.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins.
My point is, you're going to name maybe a 30-year-old wide receiver.
That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
I mean, Tyler Lockett was good.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett, I think he just turned 30. I think he might be 29, 30. He's borderline as well. I make this
Adam
point
Thielen.
Simply. Yeah, he is 32.
Robert Woods after 6-61 this week.
See, Robert Woods now. I make this point, I think, for a pretty obvious reason.
Yeah.
There's a bit of an age cliff, it seems like, around 30 years old for wide receivers. I'm not saying Tyreek Hill can't be good until he's 35 years old.
Yeah, he's a freak, man.
He's not going to be, in my opinion. Keep that in mind, and even if they don't actually start losing production, which they probably will once they hit 30 and further into 30, the value, the ability to trade them in your dynasty league, the floor just gets pulled out from underneath of them. No one's trying to trade for a 30-year-old wide receiver. So that's what I want to say. That's the whole argument I want to say against this. Having said that, go for the championship. If you really do think this sets you over the top, do it. Do it. Trading makes fantasy fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And someone down further in the chat said, how old is Cooper Kupp? We're going to have that conversation.
Cooper Kupp's 29. He's 29. He will be 30 next season.
I've seen some trades with teams that are actually rebuilding. They're rebuilding, so they're done this year, but they're trading for Cooper Kupp. I'm like, what? Because they're saying
maybe their thought process
my season's done, but I think that
you flip him probably next year. Maybe his value goes up going into next year. I could see that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that mindset, but it's weird.
That's weird, right?
He's not the guy I'm going on my way to acquire in a rebuild. That's for sure.
Yeah. Although I did kind of do that with Michael Thomas when he was hurt, and I got him for real cheap though. It's kind of almost like a throw-in in some deals. Yeah,
he wasn't the perennial wide receiver one at that point. You traded for him.
Yeah,
like Cooper Kupp was. Well, he's close, but anyway, let's move on here. 12-team dynasty.
Mike meant Amari Cooper, not Cooper Kupp.
Amari
Cooper's 29 going on 28. I mean, 20 going on 29, I believe. I'm not.
It feels like he's like 35 though. He's been in the league forever.
He has been. He came in really young. I think he came in as like a 20-year-old. Amari Cooper, if I remember that correctly.
It's just funny because Velus Jones as old as Amari Cooper?
They're probably pretty close. They played in college together, actually. They might have. I was joking when I first said that. They definitely didn't. Yeah. That's pretty funny.
But anyway, Superflex PPR, they currently have Burrow, Watson, and Geno at quarterback outside of Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray in a mid-first for Ken Walker and a top 2 pick. Ideas I could land Walker and Bijan. If that pick's not 1, you're not landing Bijan.
Yeah, he's going number 1, period.
Top 2 pick?
So Murray and a mid-first.
So
and you get Walker.
To me, it's not Bijan. It's you replacing Murray almost is what you'd be looking with probably with that second pick. Yeah. And that doesn't even sound like what you want to do. I mean, I'm not sold on Geno as a dynasty stud going forward. It's fine. He's been really good this year. I'm still not sold on him.
I'd rather have Murray. I'd rather just keep Murray, to be honest, in a super flex to have the kind of flexibility of Murray and then see what Watson looks like when he comes back, which should be very good, and have Burrow. But I would rather Watson returns back to form and then just roll out Murray and Watson every week, man.
I think we got to mention that having 3 quarterbacks in a superflex league, I think, is pretty important. 3 startable quarterbacks. I don't want to roll into a season like trying to fight for a championship with only 2 quarterbacks that I think are starting.
You have to get very lucky to not get injuries or something to happen.
Yeah,
we're going to need another guy.
I think Murray is worth more than Kenneth Walker in a superflex league, but then you're moving up from a mid-first to a top 2 pick. You think? I think the value's there. I think the value is pretty relatively fair. I am with you, Josh. I stay on the Murray side here.
I can't do it just because we've already seen with running backs. I mean, although Murray is also dealing with his own injuries now, and he's scrambling quarterback. I tend to lean towards the quarterback, like top tier quarterbacks in Superflex Dynasty. So yeah, I would probably stick with Murray here, unless if you can for sure say that that's like the top pick by the time that you trade. That might kind of push things a little bit because people are so hot for that pick that you could probably use that also as leverage to like make another move, after it's yours, right? So that's just kind of my thinking. Like you could probably turn that into a good quarterback plus something, Yeah.
I agree with you. If you could guarantee it's 101, I'm more favorable towards the trade, but it doesn't sound like when you say top 2 that you're sold it's going to be first overall. So
yeah.
I mean, I agree with y'all. It's tough to do this trade.
Murray has been good. Like maybe not as good NFL-wise. He's been a good fantasy quarterback for your team. And they just gave him a huge contract this offseason. Murray's going to be a starting quarterback for years to come in the NFL. And if he is, he's going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback at the very least, So yeah. I would go with Murray here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Walker and Bijan is so tempting. Like just saying
I know it's a good trade. It's a fair trade. It's a fair trade. It definitely is fair. If you trading makes fantasy fun, do it if you want. But
you guys are too nice.
You would just be a hell no. Don't even think about this.
I mean, no. I just I'm always whichever side I pick. I always just like to savage the side I don't.
Well, what side are you picking, Tyler?
I have to think about it.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. Probably.
I want to hear a good Tyler answer to this.
Mid is what though? That's a lot of it. Is what does that mean? Mid what? Is mid 5? Because if it's 5, then I probably want that side. If mid is 10, then I probably want the other side.
It's obviously a very close trade, though. You can admit that.
I didn't say that. That's fake news.
If it's 5 to 7 is the difference for you, then it's close.
10.
Oh, okay, whatever. It's still 7. Close.
Fake. This is fake.
The 5th and the 10th.
The people.
Tyler, I swear to God, man.
Oh, what's gonna happen when I
pick
calm down in my older years?
Tyler, pick a side.
I did.
You gave the most non-answer I've heard all day.
Well, I mean, just ask me who my favorite co-host is, and you might actually get an answer or another non-answer from me.
We know it's Ryan. Come on.
Ryan's everyone's favorite. Gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Was anyone watching the stream when I think it was Ken Kelly asked live on SDLF who your favorite DLF partner was, and I was like, this is Cal and Addison are going to give you politically correct answers, but be careful asking me. I might answer.
You might fuck around and get a real answer.
Yeah, you might fuck around and get a real
I
answer.
said the F word twice today now.
Come on, guys. Okay. Hey, we expect better out of this team. All right.
Hey. You never know what you're going to get with
I'm always looking for an opportunity to tell Josh to go fuck himself, so it's fine.
Guys, there he goes.
Come back.
My kids are right outside the door.
I'm back. So don't yell at Tyler. Whisper it next time.
No, that might sound that might sound a little.
Can you? Do you think there's gonna be more cursing or less cursing on AskDLF now that Cal is off the show?
Well, I know there's gonna be a lot more Hutch, right? There's gonna be a lot more Hutch.
Yeah. So Hutch doesn't curse.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So,
But I mean, do they have rules for like DLF? Like, hey, Tyler, don't do this or do
I
that.
try not to say too much.
I mean, they let Shane Manila record things on their channel, so I think that they're at least somewhat okay with cursing because he. I love Shane, and that's actually probably I think what people like about Shane is that he's like no holds barred. But yeah, if they're willing to let him record shows, I think that there's got to be some cursing on this. I mean, I've cursed on SDLF before, quite a few times. Yeah. I'll probably scare Addison, but I won't go on like a tirade like I will on here. But I mean, I'll do it if I have to. All right, they're sorry.
It's either the Jets or the Broncos, I assume. Could always pin it on them.
I think we covered this enough.
Yeah. What a shithead. I'm sorry, I did it again. I can't stop, guys.
No,
I can't stop. I can't stop. Like this is the first time, you know. Like
did you see the defensive lineman like that tweet?
I mean, just be thankful. Just be thankful, Josh, that Zach Wilson doesn't know your mother. Just be thankful for that.
That you know of.
That's not something to brag about.
What was the tweet of the defender like? It was like Josh Allen takes responsibility for his losses, and Zach Wilson just like no. And the Giants defensive lineman liked the tweet.
If Zach Wilson was getting with my mother, I might have to make people know about it. I might talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
I would. Like, I love
Does your mother watch these shows?
No, I don't think she watches this one. She's watched some of my shows in the past. Sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. But like, it's relevant. Like, I do fantasy football stuff all the time. Like, you know, hey guys, guess what?
In case anyone's wondering, I'm very satisfied with the performance of my co-hosts. The show has been better and better lately. No, I'm actually not kidding.
At the expense of my mother.
At the expense of your mother.
Yeah.
It really,
or mom.
It really has been.
Val,
it really has
I'm
been
sorry.
a lot better.
Love you, Mom.
Man, that's still so weird to me. Like when people call their parents by their first name.
Val.
Like this culturally, man. Like because I mean, I grew up. Like, my parents were the first from South Korea from their respective families to come, and you call Amma or Appa, which means like mom or dad. I went over to my best friend's house, and he was just like, "Debbie, I'm hungry." I'm like, "What the?" Like, what's happening?
Mom would have smacked me, right?
No, really, I thought I was in like a Twilight Zone. I was like, dude, like, call her mom. Like, what are you doing? He's like, what are you talking about? Like,
I never
this
call
is
my
so
mom Val to
weird.
her face. Yeah.
And then also, I was like, why am I?
But
still
you wouldn't
wearing my
really care
shoes?
either.
I was like, why am I still wearing my shoes in the house? That's weird.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't know. I almost never call my mom.
Yeah,
I'll
it's a
call
cultural
her-
thing. I mean, yeah, there's like a very
I'll
like
call her mother when I want something.
Mother.
Mother.
Oh,
Mother?
Mother.
May I have some tea, please?
That actually sounds like me. I don't think my mother watches the show. My dad does sometimes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's nice. He likes football. Here's where I am. As a contender, I sent Swift for Jamal Williams and the likely 112. That is low. That's low. Like,
He said so low though.
I did.
Is that it? Is that it?
I
If
kind of
you're
expected you to say yes on this when I first.
If you're
saw
a
it.
contender and this is what you need to do, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, Jamal Williams
I couldn't do it.
is legit for this year.
I mean,
Yeah.
most of
I
my
wouldn't be able to do it. I'm with you.
FF
I'm
Lefty
with
is
Josh
a
on this
patron
one.
of mine, so I assume this is a super flex league.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I figured you
Like
would.
if someone asked me this in the DMs, like I'd be like, no, like just straight up, and then I'll be like, let me show me the guy's team,
Yeah, but
and let's figure out a better
The
trade.
fact that we're not dismissing it tells you all you need to. Plus, also it's the likely 112. There's no guarantee it's going to be the 112.
He just has. It's just.
I assume
like
it's a 12-team
obviously
league,
it's
so
the
the-
best team. Yeah.
Right, but obviously the best team doesn't always win.
does not. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
So
saying.
even
though,
if they're
it's the
guaranteed
best-
to be a first round bye, it's still 109 to 1.
if it's the
easily
best
be the
team,
fourth.
like they can afford to give a little more too, man. I would probably at the very least pushed for
Not
give me the
always.
first.
I
and
don't
give me a
think you
second.
can push. Like, I think that you're lucky if you get this.
No, dude. I mean, I told you
People
about the
are
trades that I
turning on
made.
DeAndre Swift. I think this week was the kind of the last round. And if he had,
But
he's
he
lucky
scored a
that
touchdown.
He
That's
did.
keeping him
He's
alive.
lucky
It
he
is.
scored that touchdown, because if he didn't, it would be really bad. But I think that more than the touchdown, Jamal Williams' 3 touchdowns, I think, overshadowed DeAndre Swift's 1 touchdown.
I was
Jamal
gonna say,
Williams
I-
league
I- I
winner.
would-
If
I
I
would
had told
want to
you,
play golf.
if I had told you at the beginning of the season that Jamal Williams would be a league winner and DeAndre Swift
I would
play
be
most
like
of the
Swift.
season,
Swift got knocked out for the season.
yeah,
That's
but
what
I
would
but
go.
that Swift
Yeah.
played most of the season, and
I would be like, no,
you would tell me that I
You're
was
a
completely
filthy
insane.
liar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Jamal Williams is just a monster.
He's really cool.
He's their best power back on their team. Like, you know, they need some yards. They need him to go forward. He's the guy, right?
He's good. He's
He's
good. He
very
was
good.
good in Green Bay. I think a
He's
lot of people,
he's averaging the least amount of yards per carry on the team. Like, but he's getting the most. So you know that happens. But like even like Justin Jackson,
considering
has a
his
awesome yards per
volume,
carry.
considering
Yeah,
that
I
he's
know
taking,
volume usually lowers the yards per carry. So
considering
I-
he's taking almost 16 carries a game, 4.2 yards a
a
carry.
lot
is
of
not
goal
bad.
line carries,
bad
which,
team
which
also,
lowers
which
your
lowers it on a
efficiency,
bad
yeah.
team. On a
Good
bad
offensive
team
line.
with a, the team is bad though, so
Yeah.
people are not afraid of the pass as much.
Yeah.
Like inside the box. It's crazy. He has 12 touchdowns this year and 13 in his 5-year career before this year, rushing touchdowns. Isn't that
Yeah,
insane?
I keep looking at this trade though. I'm like, I feel worse and worse about it, man. You could get so much more
12
for Swift.
touchdowns in 10 games this year and 13 touchdowns in his previous 73 contests. Like,
I'm with Josh though. I wouldn't do this trade.
this is like an outlier of all outliers.
Yes.
It's just like one of those big touchdown running back seasons that we've seen in the past. I think like the Patriots guy.
Blunt? Was it with
Yeah,
Laguerre?
Blunt.
Yeah.
Blunt. That's all.
To be
I'm trying
fair,
say. Like,
it's
it kind
not
of reminds me of that
just-
kind of season, right?
It's not just touchdowns.
And
Touchdowns are
Blunt
helping.
wasn't only touchdowns. He was getting 60, 70 yards a game.
Yeah.
But the other thing that came out of nowhere is suddenly he became a volume back, which he'd never been in his career.
Yeah.
Mapletron. Sorry.
Chase Claypool.
Chase Claypool is
Yeah.
not it. Chase Claypool is bad.
Oh yeah. In Dynasty, of course, it's a buy low opportunity. Yeah.
For who?
For
Pitts?
except for
Yes.
Pitts in Dynasty.
You could probably get him cheaper than you
It's-
might be able to get him like ever so far in his career.
Pitts,
Right now. I assume.
yeah, to me it's a buy low. Is it stubborn that Pitts is still my Dynasty tight end one, or am I just being stubborn?
No.
I don't think it is.
Yeah. I
Well,
don't think I am.
Well,
either.
I mean, it should
What's he,
still-
22, right?
22, yeah.
It should still be Kelsey, to be honest, right?
Well, it can't be.
Look, I don't know.
I think you can make an argument for it.
No, you can't.
I just think that there's no
What
other
if he plays
tight
till he's
end
38?
that
Yeah.
is used like Kelsey is in his offense that he's in. That
With
has the
Patrick
connection with
Mahomes the whole
QB that
time.
he has, and I think that he could keep it going for a couple more seasons as long as he wants to. So,
I know.
So
If
even
he's
Calvin-
32,
But the
33.
risk you take with a player like that is one injury and the value just vanishes. So, like,
Well, okay,
it's-
but look, we're talking about value again, right? Like, if you traded for Kelsey at some point, right, in the last couple of years because he's older, tight end, like you're making bank right now, like winning games, matchups.
I just traded
But
TJ
now
Hawkinson plus
is
Kelce
not
going
the
into this
time to trade for
offseason,
Travis
and
Kelce. You
I
had your
really-
chance to do that. If you wanted to buy the rest of his career, it would have cost the same that it does now, and you would have had 2 years already. Now I actually think it's too late. Now it's actually gone back the other way for me, where we're back to Travis Kelce actually being overvalued. Like, he was a value, I think, like coming into this year, there was some uncertainty. I mean, he was kind of valued about correctly to me. And then the year before, maybe 2 years ago, before 2020 would have been a great time, obviously in hindsight, right? As he just had turned 30. That would have been a good time if you wanted to buy the rest of his career. But now his price is actually higher now than it was then. And I just think that, yes, he's still been doing well this year, but, you know, for outside of quarterback, like Father Time doesn't lose. He doesn't lose at the other positions. I mean, it really just doesn't happen.
how
It's
long
just
did
not
Gonzo
possible.
play for? And
But
like
But the
And
thing is,
Antonio
if you had
Gates.
paid a
There's
premium,
Gates, there's Witten, even who was
Yeah,
but
Witten
all of
couldn't have
those
played
would
in one
be
numbers until he was like 35.
Tony Gonzalez. The last
They
year,
definitely were losing production as they
Sure.
got
the
into
last
mid
year
to upper
that Tony
30s.
Gonzalez would have been worth anywhere near this kind of price was his age 32 season. So he would also lose the bet. The other years, he was like, he didn't produce
There's
that
one more
much.
thing we got to throw into here, though. It's Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Quarterback
I
that
do
is locked
think-
into that franchise for the next 10 years.
They traded Tyreek Hill this offseason. They didn't have the best opportunity to replace him. Now they have. I think they can see that their offense, while it is growing great, it's great, is so dependent on Travis Kelce. You know what happens if you put in the NFL, if you put all your eggs in one basket, what happens if something happens to that player? Because I do think that
It's harder to win games.
Patrick Mahomes has proven that he can lose everyone except Travis Kelce and still succeed. Could he do that if he lost Travis Kelce?
He just hasn't. We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't
just
seen
don't
it.
know.
I think
Yeah.
the answer to that question is actually no. I think the
I
offense
think
would
he could
would
be
tank.
a top 5 quarterback without Travis Kelce. Maybe not in this
Not for
offense,
fantasy.
but
I
not
think he
right
could
now,
still
but
carry it
the
in real life,
future.
but for fantasy, I think it would fall apart. For real life, I think they've been so. This is the year they've been
Maybe.
the most dependent on Travis Kelce.
They
and
need
you
more
can't-
weapons than they have right now, or at least healthy weapons, I guess.
Right, but they've been so dependent on Travis Kelce as a difference making. They don't have anyone else. Everyone else is just replaceable. So if you lost the one difference maker, the offense would be a problem. It wouldn't be so good. So they're so dependent on that one player, and I think that they see that that's a risk because if something happens to that player, then you have a problem. So I think next
what
year
you're
they're going
saying
to have.
is they'll address it, like kind
Yeah,
of bring.
I think they have to.
Big.
I think that they. I
Well,
mean,
they have
look at
some
who they-
guys that they've been working in. I mean, like Noah Gray.
But they need
And,
a
and
one.
Juju
They need
is
a one.
good.
They need a one, though. They need a wide receiver one. They have Juju is a solid wide receiver two, really works better as a third weapon.
He is a I think he's in a perfect situation with Kelce, you know?
Yeah, but he
personally.
wouldn't be able to step up if Kelce went out. The offense would
That's fair.
fall apart. They've been so
well,
dependent on
Juju
Kelce
would put
this
up
year.
numbers still.
Yeah, but they're so
fantasy.
dependent
I think it would
on
real
Kelce.
life it would be more of a problem.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
maybe Mahomes
Kelce
has some issues in fantasy. That's fair.
Kelce
At
has
the quarterback
11
position this year.
11 of their
all
28
issues.
receiving touchdowns. Mecole Hardman has the next most at 4.
And what he had
Oh,
7 of those
Hardman.
touchdowns in 2 games.
Yeah. So what they really need to do, I think, is address. I mean, wide receiver, it's interesting. They have a lot of guys. Mecole Hardman's a free agent. Obviously, he's gone. Marcus Valdez-Scantling is on that contract, but I don't think they're very happy with Marcus Valdez-Scantling. Like, I don't think he's satisfying them with what they pay.
No, I don't think so.
I think he's been a bust, all
Yeah.
things considered. And they can
Yeah.
save $7 million by getting out of him next year. I think Kadarius Toney is their replacement for Marcus Valdez-Scantling. So I think he'll be gone too. And then Kadarius Toney will be there. Sky Moore will be there. And then I think they have the choice of, is signing Juju sufficient, or are they going to? But there isn't really a big name they can really bring in. But I don't know.
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams would be nice, but it's in division, so that seems
that would be
unlikely.
That'd be
crazy.
nasty.
That would be insane. I do think, though, they have to make an effort to try to bring in, like, something.
Someone like Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, someone like Tyreek Hill who actually wants to be there.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. We'll see. What's your take on Najee off these 2 better games? Sell what you can, or a sign of some actual improvement? What do you think?
Good question.
It's a good question, actually. We haven't talked about Najee at all.
Well, I know you value age greatly, and he's already not young enough for you, Tyler. But
He's not.
Yeah, I do think that it's an encouraging sign of things in terms of him as a player being able to rip off long runs still. And I'm not out on him as a football player. So I think that now I would not sell right now, to be honest. He's a guy I think I'd hold, and I think as the team improves around him, you're going to see much better games from him.
Who would
a
you
lot of
rather
it's gonna
have,
be-
Najee Harris or DeAndre Swift?
Would I rather have?
That was
Yeah.
swirling around in my
Oh
brain.
man, give me Swift.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, not for me.
Yeah, I think it's Swift for me. But it's tough because Najee has like guaranteed volume, and that's kind of we know that's his
Najee for
role.
me.
Yeah, I think it's close, but I think I would have to like lean Swift for now, because I'm not like so out on Swift like you are, Tyler, yet. I kind of want to see the remainder of the season. If they just keep on pummeling with 17, 16, 15 carries a game for Williams, and like Swift's getting like less than double digit touches, then I may be ready to say like, okay, I don't know what they're doing. Swift is amazing as a player, but they just don't want to give him that. So,
But he was third string over the last 3 weeks.
yeah,
Last 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks.
And so week 9, where he played 16%.
He was second string 3 weeks ago. All right.
If you want to brag
It
about
doesn't matter.
a 16% share being
Yeah, it
second
doesn't
string, go for it.
It literally doesn't matter.
Well, wait, Tyler, but in your dynasty rankings, then you've lowered Swift below Najee? Not
Yes.
yet, right?
Yes,
Oh, you have?
I have. Yeah, Swift is lower.
Oh, wow.
Running back 18, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, Najee, I think also this week, the last couple, especially this week, and last week was starting to get there, but this week a little bit more. I think it's just showing that the Steelers don't care. That they don't care whether he's ineffective or effective or whatever.
Now, if Swift was on the Steelers, we wouldn't have these issues.
Right, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to stick with Najee no matter what. I think also Najee is kind of in a similar boat to Swift in that the high-end upside, I think, is gone. Najee Harris is not a special player. He's not great. He's not a star. He's just okay. I mean, I don't want to say he's just okay. But like he is what he is. He can handle volume. He can satisfy what you need in the offense, I guess. And they're not going to go away from him. They spent a first-round pick on him last year, and they're not going to be. He's going to be their starter next year, no matter what. And it is what it is. Whereas we've seen that the Lions will have a Justin Jackson playing ahead of a apparently healthy DeAndre Swift, that's no good. If that shows that we have like a serious issue. So I would rather have Najee Harris just for a little bit more certainty in that you can always I told people don't even start DeAndre Swift this week. I had him at like 29 among running backs. I had Harris at 20. So most people did start him, which was the right choice. And, that's kind of how I look at it. If Jaylen Warren is out, then Najee Harris is going to be, I mean, I don't want to say he could be a league winner down the stretch, but he could be valuable. I mean, there are games against the first 2 weeks of the fantasy playoffs are the Panthers and the Raiders. Not exactly scary.
Yeah.
He could be valuable
good game
in those games. And the Ravens, there's games that the Ravens are not, they were good in this one, but they've been a mixed bag.
I mean, the last time I was on, I told you about a trade that I had made involving Najee Harris for him, actually. I traded Joe Mixon for Najee and most likely the 2.01 of 2023. So that's a move that I felt like value-wise I had to take. Yeah. So I mean, I've been okay with it. Like, I mean, it was before Mixon's insanity, like huge game, but I think Mixon run, I still believe Najee will produce.
Mixon just lost most of the goodwill from that week, from after this week.
No, excuse me.
Where it was the Samaje Perine show.
I think we still have to mention real fast that Najee Harris played by far his highest snap count this game, 92% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Jaylen Warren missed the large majority of the game with his hamstring injury. Yeah. So that's part of the reason why he had such a good game. So I'm just don't want to get carried away thinking, Najee Harris,
but he's loaded now. A volume guy. Like, give him the ball enough where he's gonna tire the defense out and he's gonna be able to rip some long gains off. Like, he's not like you plug him in here and there or give him like a small amount of carries and share the ball and he's going to be productive.
The pass catching work was there this game.
The good news is
with Jaylen Warren.
The good news is that they're not artificially limiting Najee Harris's workload. As in, they wanted to give Jaylen Warren touches. When Jaylen Warren was gone, the Jaylen Warren role did not go to someone else. It just went back to Najee Harris.
Yeah.
Whereas on some teams, like with DeAndre Swift, it doesn't matter who's in or out. DeAndre Swift's role is not going to change. They're not going to give he's not going to get more touches. When Craig Reynolds went out, Justin Jackson just appeared. Nothing changed.
Yeah.
Whereas the Steelers are you're either in or you're out. They either trust you or they don't. And right now, there's two players they trust. So if Jalen Warren is out, then there's only one, and Najee gets everything.
Answer this question though would be, I don't want to sell for whatever I can get necessarily, but is this maybe a sell high opportunity? Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay, so what is a sell high to you? Though? I mean, I don't think I would trade him for less than a first.
Yeah, I think it would have to be that.
Yeah.
But some people would trade Najee at this point for a second, and I'm like, a lot of people are just
maybe last week.
Maybe last week. I think now it will be tough.
I think this kind of set him above a second, and it's weird. That's one game, right? Perception works like that, right?
You'd be surprised. I think for a lot of us who play in,
if you can get Najee for a second, go do it.
Do it, yeah.
Don't do it if you have Najee.
Yeah.
If you get a first,
I'm the same way. Like when people ask me questions about like, hey, these are the two groups or like two parts of a trade. What do you think is better? I'm like, don't ask me like that. You tell me who you have, and then like what you're willing to pay. Because the answer is different if you're selling or buying in the way that I'm going to advise you. Because I'm not going to tell you to sell for something if I know that you can sell it for more. I'm not going to tell you to buy for something if I believe that you could buy it for less, right? Like, so you never just go by kind of objective value in a vacuum. Like you always have to kind of see for the person who's asking you the question, right? So I always say that because sometimes people ask me a question and I say, well, I think there's more value on this side. And they're like, oh, okay, so I'll make the deal and get that side. I'm like, no. Like, let's again, take a moment. If you're going to go get that side, let me tell you a better way to package or, to extract more value out of that side, right? So, all that to say, selling high is always a good thing, but just make sure that your values are on so that you selling high isn't actually like
selling low.
A bad move. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, guess what I sold Najee for? Or guess what I sold Allen Robinson for bought Allen Robinson for 2023 first, that kind of deal going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. What are we doing with Pollard? Now I feel like we're talking about Pollard a lot. Yeah. Slime Sanders.
There he is.
Yes. Pollard free agent. Yeah. Swift, Mixon.
I'll take Swift.
Yeah.
I'll take Swift, guys.
I'll take Mixon, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you're win now, you'd say Mixon probably, right?
Yeah.
Although,
that's probably what it comes down to, right? Yeah. But yeah, Mixon. What is a head injury for Mixon? And so Samaje Perine, if Mixon's healthy and ready to go, Mixon's the guy. Samaje Perine's going to be good until Mixon's back.
I know.
Yeah, Mixon this year.
So
but
weird.
I'll take Swift if I'm in the middle.
Yeah. All right. Should I trade Eckler and DeAndre Hopkins for Kelsey, Fields, and Walker?
Should I trade Eckler and D-Hop, Kelsey, Fields, and Walker? Wait, is this a super flex?
It doesn't look like it.
Feels like a redraft.
And I don't know if this is Dynasty or redraft.
It's probably redraft. Is my guess.
Probably, yeah. Because if it's not, it's the Walker side easily.
Redraft 1 QB.
Yeah.
So if it's redraft 1 QB, then I'll take Kelsey without a second thought.
So Eckler over Walker.
It's not even close. It's Kelsey by a mile.
So it's Kelsey. Yeah. Kelsey and Fields we take for D-Hop.
Would Kelsey in redraft? Would Kelsey be your number one player rest of year? Because who would you rather have?
He's just so big a difference maker.
Right.
Man.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, who would you rather have in redraft rest of year? Is there any player? Because I don't think there is.
Right now, I don't think that you can say. I mean, PPR.
You don't feel comfortable enough about any of the running backs.
Justin Jefferson has his turf toe.
Yeah, that's the only person I think
I would take a little bit of the edge off of him. Tyreek Hill is up there.
If you asked this question last week, it's probably Justin Jefferson's the answer.
Yeah, but with a turf toe, I think it is Kelsey. I think Kelsey's the most valuable player rest of season in redraft. Who else is there? I mean, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, people don't want to say Saquon, but like he can get. It's just not a great offense when it comes down to it. It's fine. You know, he'll be good. He'll be a top 5 running back. But
Stephon Diggs is very reliable.
I mean, and look at this guy's team too. I mean,
I think it
makes sense. He's rocking with Taysom Hill at tight end. You replace that with Kelsey. I mean, that's like
no. This is not a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a decision.
Yeah.
This is an easy question.
Yeah.
What's the lowest?
As long as we were correct on the context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, it doesn't matter. We're going with that side.
What's the
either way.
lowest you would take for Swift and pick value? We kind of talked about that.
Yeah. Still a first, at least.
Yeah, I think it has to be. I don't think I would take second for Swift.
I absolutely would not. It's just, someone wants to pay more.
Like I still wanted
Right.
something back. Jamal Williams is not nothing. I still liked it better when it wasn't guaranteed to be the 112 and when it had another player in there. So I don't want to take a second. What? I don't know. You're right. It's vague, and I don't know. We talk about Burks yet? Not really, actually. I do feel like we tend to. I don't want to say not focus on the Thursday game, but we definitely.
It just feels like it's almost last week.
It feels like it's almost last week,
Well,
and
I mean,
it
it
feels
was
like
last week, technically.
people record shows on Friday,
job, Josh.
Saturday,
Good
and
call.
Sunday where they discuss the Thursday game. So I feel like by the time we get here, the Thursday game has often already been discussed significantly, especially on those Friday shows.
Yeah.
But it was awesome to see.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean he still only played half the game, so there's
Yeah,
room
I
for
think
more.
I think there was other wide receivers. I think 2 other wide receivers that played more than him in that game.
Yeah, Woods and Westbrook-Akina played more.
Yeah. But it's awesome to see. I know there was one big play that kind of set his game over the top.
But he still had
But-
7 catches.
Yeah, I know. But that's Treylon Burke. He's kind of like is known as more of a big play guy. I know he doesn't have elite like burn you speed. Like if you look at his 40-yard dash time, but if you look at his like just footage like and tape from college, like this is him. This is who the Titans want him to be, like an AJ Brown type of player. And this gives me a lot more confidence that maybe he can at some point become that type of player. So yeah, it gives us all confidence for Dynasty. You're going to see a lot of Treylon Burks trades, I assume, over the course of this week. People want to get their hands on him now that they've seen.
I mean,
How high did you move him?
Yeah, those who are in on Burks, I mean, as a prospect and coming into the season, I mean, this is what we expect to see, except on a more regular basis eventually. But it's cool to see it, that he came out and he produced the way that he did with like kind of still limited snaps, right? So it definitely bodes well for his future.
So why don't we, I mean, would you rather have Treylon Burks or, I don't know, George Pickens?
I like this game.
I don't like this game anymore.
I thought I was gonna like this game, and then you asked me maybe the toughest question you could have asked.
I'll go with Burks, but I might be mad that the Bears didn't get Pickens.
The season, man.
Wait, did you say it for the rest of the season or just right now? Like
Dynasty.
Dynasty.
Yeah,
the rest of the season, I think, is pretty easily Pickens, actually.
Yeah. It's probably Pickens is probably the right answer, but they'd be in the same tier,
I would go with Pickens.
He has looked good.
What about Drake London? Rest of the season, that one's easier. I think it's Burks over London. But
yeah,
what about in Dynasty?
It's close.
London.
It's London, but again, I think these guys kind of like all these rookies have kind of clumped together. They spread out at the beginning of the year, and now they're kind of
I mean, so here's the thing. Like maybe this is a cool question to ask too. Is when you guys come into the NFL season and you have kind of your likes, right? Who's the 1.01 of wide receivers, and you kind of have your rankings for your dynasty wide receivers in the incoming draft class. Like throughout the course of the first year, like when you don't see players on the field, are you immediately just dropping them from, your kind of dynasty valuation? Or do you kind of hold to the prospect grade, if you will, that you've given and see it and you just trust that it will come out over the course of the season? There might be different circumstances, situations, but you trust the talent that you've kind of, put your mark on. And then so you don't drop them in terms of value as much. Like Drake London, obviously he was one of the top guys, right? And, he did very well, had very good target volume and everything like that earlier on. Lately, it's been a little bit less production.
You want to hear something crazy about Drake London? He has more receiving yards in his first 3 games than in his previous 8.
I believe that.
Yeah, so he got out to a really good start.
The first 3 games, we have 16 receptions for 214 yards and 2 touchdowns. The next 8, 23 receptions for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I like Treylon Burks over Drake London, like coming into the
wow.
year, actually.
Really?
I like Garrett Wilson was my top one,
Okay.
and then it was Treylon Burks, and then it was Olave, Drake London.
Well, how would you rank him now?
Yeah,
How would you rank the rookies now? That's a good exercise.
Olave's number one.
Yeah.
That's a good exercise.
In the
Maybe I'll
rookie wide
clip this
receivers.
and release it as a short or something. So if you had to rank the rookie wide receivers right now, what order would you put them in?
Olave's number one, and then Garrett Wilson for me. So it's both the Ohio State guys. After that, I think I would go with Drake London, then Treylon Burks, then Jahan Dotson. But it's not like crazy separation, to be honest. Like Olave and Garrett Wilson are definitely the top two, in my opinion. But Drake London's not far off.
It's so difficult because Drake London just doesn't have a quarterback. He showed it's there, and like you don't know if he's going to get a quarterback next season with how okay the Falcons are doing. I'll just say okay, but they're not going to be in that range to get a quarterback, and they might be stuck with Ritter or Mariota again. And
Yeah, Ritter's not the answer, man.
I mean, I have Olave 1, Wilson 2, Pickens 3, London 4.
I forgot I didn't even include Pickens in my conversation.
Burks 5.
What about Jamison Williams? Do you still have him?
Oh, I forgot about Jameson.
He's
way
coming back.
lower. I mean, he hasn't even appeared in a game.
So you do base the. I mean, so right now are you doing like a redraft ranking for rookies?
No,
or
this
are
is
you
all
saying
dynasty. It's all dynasty.
Okay.
In
It's hard
redraft,
not to- it's hard not
redraft
to
is
have
actually
Olave,
interesting. I mean,
but-
redraft Olave is won by a mile.
Yeah.
And then it's close. I would say probably
write
I would
these
have
names
Pickens 2, then Wilson, then Burks, and then London 5. Although without Pitts, maybe London will. But Pitts.
I
is
still
barely
like
passing.
Williams. I still like Williams in like the top 5-ish, even though he hasn't played all year, because we already knew that coming in, and I had him still higher as like a pick.
I think if you ask people to bet on it,
Yeah.
I think they would have thought he would have. I think the perception was that he was back sooner. I think this is longer.
I thought
think
he was
this
going to
is-
miss like 4 games myself.
So did I.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to miss, 4 to 6 games. I think the perception was not that it would be this long. So I think it's rightfully reduced his value a little bit.
Yeah,
And then also, like, I know Amon-Ra St. Brown was doing awesome last year, and you
That's
knew
also
that
true.
when you
I don't
drafted
think
him,
people
but he's
thought
just like
Amon-Ra
proving it
was
even
this
more
good.
that he is the guy. And I'm not saying like they could help each other, you know. It doesn't mean like only one can be good. But I think that hurts him in a lot of people's minds in a way.
All right, guys, I have to bounce, but it has been fun and answering questions with you guys.
Who's your favorite rookie wide receiver?
Right now? I mean,
Yeah.
it has to be Olave. I mean,
Okay,
I
yeah,
wasn't
that's the only right
that
answer.
honestly.
Sorry to interrupt your
Yeah.
leaving.
Yeah,
I needed
coming
to
into
know.
the season, I wasn't that high on him, but in terms of the situation and like how he's produced, like you can't really argue with that. So he's showing he can do it at the biggest level, and he's basically operating as the number 1 wide receiver on his team. So I mean, not much competition, right? What do you have, like Callaway and Traquan Smith trying to jockey for position? Michael Thomas looked really good when he did come back for a little bit, but obviously he went out again for the season. So I'd probably say Olave, but I do still like London. Like I feel like I would still put him number 2 in Dynasty, like value wise. But Wilson's right there because Wilson's looked really good as well. So those are like my top 3. But Jamison Williams, I still feel like I want to put him like 5 or 6, even though he hasn't played yet. Because the whole purpose of how we did grade him or like kind of rank him earlier on was knowing his talent and what he could potentially produce on the field. So let's see it, man. He's back on the practice field. So we'll see how he looks when he comes back. I mean, he just needs to beat out DJ Chark now or like Josh Reynolds. So I think he'll be okay.
Khalif Raymond as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Khalif. My bad.
Khalif Raymond's been playing kind of well, actually.
Yeah.
He's been watching the show as well.
All right. I'll see you guys later,
See you,
though.
Josh.
Thanks for having
It
me
was
on,
fun.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Just man.
Oh, then there were 3. I don't know. Is Conan gonna grace us with his presence?
I don't know. He said 4.
I know. I was
Maybe
hoping he would appear. This Yeah.
By the way,
talk-
Christian Watson would be below all the rookie wide
Yeah.
receiver names.
He's still below Jameson Williams for me. I don't have the same.
He would be for me too, actually.
Yeah, I don't have the
But
same
he's
confidence.
moving
in
up.
Watson.
That's why I said like all these receivers are kind of like almost in a tier. There's a separation between them for sure, but like they're clumping together.
You're saying dynasty rankings for Christian Watson. How close to the top is he with the redraft?
Not very.
He's definitely higher in redraft. I'd rather start Christian Watson than Drake London right now.
Well, Drake London is so low in redraft that like.
Yeah,
that's not-
yeah. I'd rather start Christian Watson than Treylon Burks right now. Next week, I'd have to see more. I have to see more from both of them to feel comfortable starting either one. But if you chose, I don't know who they're playing next week. I haven't looked at that far ahead, but I'm assuming I will.
I mean, I would
rather
assume I'm
start
going to have
Christian
Treylon
Watson.
Burks, and it's Cincinnati. I would assume I'm going to have Treylon Burks in startable range next week.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, Christian Watson, right? You're probably gonna have him 1 or 2 spots ahead.
Christian Watson is interesting because
Yeah, I know.
last week he only had 6 targets.
The targets
Scored
are not
2
there. The
touchdowns.
receptions aren't there. The
And
touchdowns
next
are
week
there.
it's at Philly.
The opportunity for big plays
It's at Philly.
is there, and that's the
So.
thing, right?
It's at Philly.
Does Philly
Tough.
scare you off that much right now?
Yes.
It does.
Yes, they
It's
do.
the deep ball, yeah.
Yeah. United States won. Oh no, they drawed. I lied.
Oh, boo.
No.
I just saw a United States thing.
Not
assumed
good.
we won.
Not good. I only like winners.
Failure.
Yeah, I only like winners. If they didn't win, then it's not good enough.
I had a coach when I was younger that said ties like kissing your sister. Never really liked that one, but
Do you have a sister?
nah. I have 2 half sisters. I have 2 sisters. Same dad, different mom. I have 2 sisters. They're like both like 20 years older than me, actually.
Oh, okay.
Like different.
Yeah.
My dad had them when he was like teens, 20s, and then had me when he was like in his 40s.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's some insight into Josh life.
How do you tell league mates they're dumb for not accepting offers when they clearly don't listen to DLF, you, or podcasts without destroying their hopes and dreams? Well, if they don't listen to me, then they have no hopes or dreams.
They're obviously just dumb people. They're never, I mean, it's hard to,
I don't know. Tell them to go fuck themselves.
Honestly,
What?
it's not.
What, Ryan? What was that reaction?
Josh is gone.
It's something I wouldn't do, but like
Yes, but we're not the same person.
you said, well, I send like 3
You're
firsts to like
nice.
Darius Slayton.
But I think telling people to go fuck themselves often actually strengthens your relationship with that person.
You have a point.
You can
Don't
tell
like
that
send
I.
an inbox offer.
You can tell that I
you-
don't
You kind of
make a
missed
lot
out
of
on
friends playing fantasy.
the last part of this question, Tyler. It said without destroying their hopes and dreams. So I'm
Oh.
thinking, yeah.
Well,
your
why don't you
advice
just
might
send
not
them a
be
link
good
to
there.
this show and this?
There we go.
There you go. All right.
No, I
like
have
that.
heard that people want me to clip more things from the show and put it on TikTok. Would that be a good idea? I should clip things from the show and put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
So you agree?
No. I just don't want to agree with you, actually. No.
Okay, fine. Then I'll only put your
Yeah.
worst moments on TikTok.
Good. Yeah. Great idea.
I would put Ryan's worst moment on there, but Ryan doesn't have any bad moments.
I need to talk more to have bad moments. I
Perfection.
sit here in silence with my ice pack.
Oh no.
Got neck issues? Pinched nerve or something?
Headaches.
Yeah.
There are pills for that.
They don't work.
Morphine.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Maybe next show.
Okay, cool.
That'll be interesting if you have morphine and then do a show. I think the people will love it.
The people would be
will
about
love
it.
it.
That people would be in.
I was so loopy on Ask DLF. Remember on Tuesday how loopy I was?
It's a
and the
great
stuff I
time.
was talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't
yeah.
take any morphine. I was just loopy that day.
Huh, weird.
What
I felt
was
loopy
even
all
talking?
day,
I was
but
talking about a lot of nonsense on that show. The walls of this maze hold many mysteries.
Yeah, you just started spitting like
Love it.
philosophical like quotes at us.
Well, they
out of
do.
nowhere.
I
We're
mean,
like,
they do. The walls of this maze do hold many mysteries. We have to. We all realize that.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows that.
Absolutely.
Gonna have trouble picking Singletary, Pierce, or Gibson going forward. Yeah, I mean Pierce is problem, but luckily Lovey has the solution.
Oh yeah, what's that?
He's gonna bench Davis Mills. That's what he said.
Did he say that?
But he says that he's considering it, and usually when a coach says that, that means they're going to do it.
Wait, who's their backup?
He doesn't commit to him remaining the starter. Who is there? Who is their backup?
That's an interesting question. I don't even know.
I don't even know. Kyle Allen may step in.
Kyle
yeah.
Allen. The old Washington quarterback, right?
I told
Right.
people to sell Davis Mills a while ago. It's obvious to me that he's finished. He was a backup who had like a decent run, but he's done, right?
Yeah, like if we're talking about like super flex value, like yeah.
Is he worth continuing to roster in a super flex league?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not dropping him in a super flex.
In redraft super flex though? I mean, in redraft super flex, if you have tight benches,
let's see if he's actually the bench too, right? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, I think if he is benched, he's a borderline cut, even in Dynasty Superflex. Like, if he's benched, I would rather have, like, Matt Corral on my roster in a Dynasty Superflex than Davis Mills.
Okay.
There's more potential that Matt Corral could turn into something later.
Yeah,
and Matt Corral is
like
not rostered.
He can run around too. Yeah,
right, but what I'm saying is, if he is benched, he is borderline cut in Superflex League. He has no
borderline. Yeah.
Like I said, I just said I'd rather have Matt Corral over him, and Matt Corral is not rostered in a lot of Superflex leagues.
It's hard saying. It's hard, like, making the words come out.
Wouldn't you rather have the guy who hasn't already failed? I mean,
I would rather have Matt.
What about
I would
failure?
rather have Matt Corral if Davis Mills is
Davis
benched.
Mills is benched.
Yeah.
I
But
would
the
rather have
problem
Matt
is we don't like failure. There's an infestation. The problem is that the infestation of failure is really the problem. Is that you get into a bad habit of accepting failure. When you accept failure onto your dynasty, I haven't given this speech in a while. And then you continue to just buy low on failure.
Think it, like,
you
it's
get a team full of
contagious
Allen
on your
Robinsons
team?
and Michael Thomases and Clyde Edwards failure and Carson Wentz. Your team is infested with all of this failure. So I think it's better to just oppose failures, take strong opposition, and get out of that habit. Best part about Thanksgiving, don't say football. What's everyone thankful for? All right, what's the best part of Thanksgiving?
Going back to the last question, I still feel by far the most confident about Dameon Pierce than Singletary and Gibson.
Also, I
even
have
though
bad
Singletary
news.
and Gibson are getting more better and better.
I have bad news.
Still do.
Did Davis Mills get benched?
No. The Falcons have placed Kyle Pitts on IR.
That makes sense.
Not that I didn't expect him to.
They said he
but-
needed surgery, so
Yeah, so that probably means he's out for the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4 weeks at this stage. So we've already played 11. So that's out 12 through 15.
when you hear the word surgery, I don't think it
He's
should
not coming
coincide
back.
with
I don't think
IR
he's going
a
to
lot
come
of the
back
time.
for 3 meaningless games at the end of the year. Assuming they're meaningless. I mean, they are still 5-6. And they're
If Tampa don't pull together.
I'm thankful for getting to see my family and having a nice dinner with them.
Aww.
They want BJ wanted a real answer here, so there you go.
Right.
I'm
I
going
just
to
love
steal your
thankful
answer
for.
and add on mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
God
Turkey's
bless.
good on Thanksgiving. It's a little overrated, but
You know, turkey's my
overrated.
favorite food.
really?
Yes,
It's
really.
overrated.
I love turkey.
It's kind of dry. It's like it's good. It's good. I like it. I like it on
It's
Thanksgiving.
healthy. If I keep eating it, I'll keep having my abs. This is when the
That's what
real
turkey.
That's a real
Turkey
Tyler. That's
equals abs.
what I'm really like. That's the kind of thing the real. Yes, I'm even worse off the show than worse, but like I'm even more out there off the show than I am on the show. That's the kind of thing the off show Tyler would say.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
It's all about
What am I thankful for? The audience on these shows, all the people who ask me Twitter questions, all of my patrons, and just all the people who've supported me throughout my time in the industry, both from the call it the consumer or the customer or audience side, and also from the analyst co-host side and company side as well. So
You're welcome.
I guess you're the only two who are here to say you're welcome to that. But
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who would feel the same way. And
You guys both made my answer look like dust. I'll think of a better one
Mashed
next week.
potato.
Mashed
That's a
potatoes.
good answer. All right. Down by 50 with
I had a
McCaffrey,
pretty
Connor.
generic answer too. Sorry.
You're not generic.
That's not generic. No,
Family.
I think that
it's very
you-
Thanksgiving-y.
I think that we're gonna have a special segment.
Down by 50 with McCaffrey, James Conner, and the 49ers.
No, of your generic answers, I'm gonna do a super cut.
I would like that actually. Yeah, I'm pretty good at.
Maybe I'll side that to Coden since he wasn't here.
Okay.
I'll be like, Coden, watch the entire stream and pull out all of Josh's most generic answers.
ass things he said. It's
Um,
gonna be like a 10-minute clip, so watch out.
Yeah. Well, I do feel like I've gotten you away from the it could be this way, but I could see this
I
side.
never love that, honestly. I usually like to go one way. I might start out with that, and then I'll be like, but I would definitely go this way.
Yeah.
I don't like riding the fence the entire time. I like ending on a final side. I don't
But,
ending on the fence. I don't like when people do that myself very much.
I agree. I don't like to end on the fence.
I like to give both sides of the fence,
I usually
I like
don't
ending on
give
the
both
fence.
sides of the fence, but
I do like giving both sides.
that's why there's other co-hosts other than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down by 50 with McCaffrey, Connor, 49ers, DST, and Gold as kicker. Do I somehow squeeze the W?
Yeah, you can
Who'd you
definitely
bet on?
somehow squeeze it.
Yeah,
I
because
think
you have four
it's
players, so
it's
you have a lot of
against you.
possibilities.
So let's give McCaffrey 17, James Conner 13. That's 30.
I think the
49ers
odds
DST
are on your opponent.
37, Gold 47. I just did some quick math and gave you 47 points.
Yeah, I would
I
bet
think the
against
odds are
you
in your
if I
favor.
had to bet though.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, but
60% your opponent. So 40%.
I think if
Alright.
the 49ers defense scores, you win.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. That would put it over 50 for
That would
me
put 'em
in
over the
my
top.
fake
And I
scenario.
think they could. It's Colt McCoy. Come on now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Colt McCoy, I mean, has been
He was
good
fine
lately.
last week, right? The 49ers
Yeah,
defense is good.
Yeah. Who are they playing the last?
I think you have like a 45% chance of winning.
Endorse it.
Probably 40.
Would you trade
Buccaneers.
Herbert 23 and 24 third for Gibson? I probably wouldn't. I think. I mean, I'd rather have Gibson, but barely, I guess. But
him winning 0 RB build with Monty, CH, Jeff Wilson. He has Monty too. Like
I'll keep Herbert. I don't really want to add to Herbert for Gibson. I think Herbert's better than Gibson. Put it this way: I think if Herbert hadn't got hurt, I don't think we're having this conversation. I think Herbert's just worth more.
Yeah, it would help his running back room right now. He's currently second place.
Problem with the Commanders is we just don't have any trust in that committee. Like this week in the positive game script, Gibson was used more.
But we'd almost think like this game script is not Gibson's, right? Like going into
Exactly. That's why I'm saying it's a
Weird.
problem.
Yeah, it's weird. But I think that's a good thing for Gibson. Yeah, it is a problem, but
then
it's
the
a good sign
previous
for
week,
Gibson.
they came out and beat the Eagles, and Gibson didn't see as much use.
But he got a lot of use, not as much as Brian Robinson. I think this trade's fair. I think it
Refresh my
helps your
memories.
running back room
It's week 14 for Khalil Herbert, right? Week 14 or week 15?
when he can come back. You mean?
Yeah.
He can come back. He missed 11. They have a bye in 14 though, so he has to miss
Yeah.
15.
4 games.
So
Yeah.
he's coming back week 16 against Buffalo.
Okay, the semis. Because I was thinking here because it says he's winning with a 0 RB build and Monty and Khalil Herbert. Like, what happens if they come back and it's a split? You lose Monty and you're stuck with Jeff Wilson and Perrine.
Well, it is what it is.
And you probably don't have Perrine at that point either.
No.
I'm fine with this trade, but I don't want to do it. But I think it sets your running back room over the top. I lean no. I still lean no. I lean no.
I wouldn't do it either. How old is Cooper? He's 28. Turns 29 in June. June.
I said something while you were away. I said, name a 30-year-old wide receiver that's playing well in the NFL right now.
He's.
And I think that's kind of what
he's 28.
There
June
just like isn't a 30-year-old wide receiver that's playing well.
18th, 1994.
Even though I think DeAndre Hopkins just turned 30, right? Did we determine that? I think he just.
DeAndre Hopkins, I believe is 30. I think he's November. Or no, Hopkins is June 92 or something.
Oh, really?
Somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, Amari is definitely June 94, so 28. Somehow still 28. Turning 30, yeah, these guys are all 30. Okay. Give Jameson Williams and late 23 first, get Justin Fields and 24 second. This trade is the Jameson Williams side of 1 QB.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 1 QB, yeah.
No. 12 team PPR trade away Swift and Dulcich for Hawkinson and Rashad White. Well, I'll take Hawkinson and White.
It's not even tight end premium, but I understand why
you do it.
I'm on the Swift Dulcich side.
I think that's not going to look very good in a couple of weeks. I'll take Hawkinson and White.
Clip it.
If I feel like it.
Give me Hawkinson and White.
Oh, outvoted.
I've been holding Rashad White on my home PPR redraft league since week 1. So like, Tyler knows my takes on Rashad White. I've been preaching the good.
I like Hawkinson a lot. Hawkinson
also true.
9 targets each of the last 3 weeks or something like that, right? It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I do like Hawkinson a lot. He's one of my favorite Dynasty.
I thought this was funny.
Top 5.
What about me looks like I would prefer Pitts over Kelsey? Just because I'm that beautiful? I appreciate it then, Zach. I thank you for saying that I'm that beautiful.
There is something about you that screams Pitts.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts.
No, I love Kyle Pitts, right?
Yeah.
It's just,
there's something about
but yes,
it.
no, I just appreciate the comment on my beauty, and I thank you for it.
It must be what it is.
It has to be. There's no other possibility. 10 team Superflex, 1 PPR, 1.5 tight end premium. Contender gave Jamal Williams, got 23 second, and Jeff Wilson. Yeah, that's a good deal. Jeff Wilson, I think, is maybe slightly less reliable than Jamal Williams, but the 23 second is.
I'll put them in the same tier of running back.
I have them in the same tier in Dynasty,
you get a 23 second with it. Yeah, let's go.
I actually have Jamal Williams a little bit ahead in Dynasty. I trust him a little bit more. I think NFL teams think Jamal Williams is better than Jeff Wilson.
It's been 2 weeks for Jeff Wilson. On a better team.
That's true. Jamal Williams has done it all year.
Season. Yeah.
Is it time to think of Pollard as an RB1 for 2023? No, I think that's a trap. I think he'll be an RB1 for an NFL team, but I don't know if he'll be a fantasy RB1. I don't know if he can carry that. But I mean, people took a while to accept Aaron Jones, and there was always kind of a stink around him from me as well. So probably another player that I'm going to be lower on. At the end of the day,
he finds himself in the right situation, being the number 1 guy on his team.
We'll see.
He'll probably be a borderline RB1.
I mean, I've raised him in Dynasty.
A lot has to happen before that.
To give you an idea, in Dynasty, I have him just below Alvin Kamara and just ahead of actually Rashad White. So I still have guys like Pierce and Stevenson ahead.
I like that.
But Pollard will continue to move up. His situation is just so uncertain, and he's not that young that I'm like a little more skeptical on him. I'm going to, unfortunately, with him, I might need to see him actually sign in the role to give him the value, because if he doesn't get it, this is his only chance for Dynasty. He's already going to be 26. He needs to get it and get the good role on the team we want and get it now, because he's not going to get another chance for Dynasty purposes. So he does come with risk. So that's why I haven't raised him too high in my rankings. How did Hutch get on DLF Football Guys being 16?
Doing a good job.
Doing a good job? Yeah, I don't care how old someone is. I mean, I'm the one who asked Hutch to be on Ask DLF going forward, so that's coming from me. So yeah, I didn't care. It didn't matter how old he was when I invited him to be on this show. Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything really to add?
Hutch
say
just
no,
does
right?
a good job.
Yeah,
think it's
I
as
would say
simple as
so.
that.
Look, Hutch probably wants to have a job in this industry more than anyone, to a degree. And it's good to identify what you want at such a young age because it gives you a lot of time to be able to actually do it. Like, I'm already old. I'm not that old, but like I'm 27. Like, it's already, I've already gone through a couple of different ideas of what I wanted to do. I'm at obviously a different stage in my life, and I'm not old or anything, but it's different being 27 versus 16. So I wish I could go back to being 16 and kind of start then. The market was a lot less saturated. I think I'd have
And buy some
300,000
Bitcoin
followers now. But yeah, there's no real story to it. I don't know how DLF brought in Hutch originally. Obviously wasn't a part of that. Football guys, I don't know anything about. So I don't know what their thought process was, but for me, it was just that, it's talented, and people seem to connect with him, and he's a good head on his shoulders. Yeah, I think that's it. And age is just a number anyway. Full PPR: Jamal Williams, Damian Pierce, rest of season. Ooh, this is very close.
So one's offense is just putting up better numbers and has more goal line opportunities, has a better offensive line. And Jamal Williams, I think he has more competition in his backfield.
There is the possibility that I don't know what percentage chance you assign to it, that DeAndre Swift week wakes up and takes over half the share or more again.
That would be my biggest concern.
Whereas with Damian Pierce, that is not going to happen.
If you told me that was impossible, I would take Jamal Williams. The fact that is possible makes it a lot closer. I would go with Jamal Williams at this point.
Yeah, it's close.
But it's very close.
The upside's a lot higher on the better offense. So give me Jamal Williams.
It's very close. It really is. There'll be neck connect for me rest of season rankings,
Who's ahead so far?
Like over the course of the season?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's close, isn't it?
Damian Pierce is in Standard League 16th and PPR 17th. 17th in PPR.
Yeah, so in PPR so far this year, Jamal Williams leads. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he has the most touchdowns in the NFL, right? Jamal Williams?
He does. Rushing.
He's 13th. He's 13th.
Yeah, he has the most rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
If none of your offers get accepted, then they're bad offers. That's not necessarily true. Some leagues are just pretty in it.
No, I've tried to overpay for some guys, and they don't want to bite.
Some leagues are just full of auto reject managers, of which I can be one. It's most of the trades I ever do are outgoing offers. Rare that I ever accept incoming offers. So I can be kind of an auto reject manager. You can ask Dynasty Outhouse about that. I don't really do a lot of trades unless they're on my ideas.
I mean, you have someone you're probably targeting and someone you want to get rid of. So it probably just makes sense in that regard, right?
Yeah. But I'm also very stubborn when it comes to value. All right. People didn't even want Mills and 12-team Superflex week one for more than a third. I agree with that. I actually didn't see a lot of people pay a second for Mills. I don't think people thought he was going to be very fantasy relevant.
And he hasn't been, really.
And he hasn't been. So, yeah, now he's not even worth it.
My idea was a bust. The pick him at the end of the start of the third, end of the second, and try to flip him for more when he was a starter.
Didn't work, yeah.
Didn't work, but like, who else did I miss out on? So like, it was a bust, but it didn't really heavily cost me where I missed a can't miss prospect like Antonio Gibson with where he was in his draft for Chase Claypool. So it's what it is.
It happens.
You learn lessons. The lesson didn't cost me, so
yeah,
you move on.
I mean, who was even available back then? Let me go back and look at it. So yeah, around then, guys who went after that are Tylan Wallace. So that one's not so great. Kellen Mond.
You think Tylan Wallace would be doing something right now, right?
Yeah. But here, some of the guys that went after that were Elijah Mitchell, Tutu Atwell, not so much, Khalil Herbert. So two gems in there, but everything else.
A little bit.
Javian Hawkins, Jamar Jefferson, Kenny Wangu. I mean, this is Seth Williams, Cornell Powell. It's not pretty. So, yeah, there's two gems in there, but a lot of bad.
Two gems, like.
Yeah, Mills is hardly a QB2 at best, so makes sense.
Yeah, it hasn't been.
I think he's talking about a backup on an NFL team, and I think that's what he is. Yeah. In redraft, obviously, if you don't have an IR spot, a free IR spot.
He was a borderline drop before the injury.
He was a borderline drop before that. Like, given his performance this week, I was probably going to suggest dropping him. So, trade Swift for Lance. I assume this has to be Dynasty Superflex.
Yeah,
It's the only
I would.
way it makes any sense.
Yeah, I would take Lance
100%.
for sure. Lance has a lot more upside than Swift.
Yeah,
We hope.
I do have some concerns with Lance. Either that they could re-sign Jimmy Garoppolo again, or
I know there's the big Tom Brady
Yeah,
intrigue for San Francisco.
it's true. But the good news is that San Francisco does not have their first round pick. Actually, or their second round pick, apparently.
That went for CMC, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they traded the second round pick for CMC and the first round pick in the Trey Lance deal originally. Denver has it now. So they don't have a pick until the third round. So they don't have an avenue to replace the quarterback in the draft. And they don't have any picks really to trade for. They don't have any picks this offseason to trade for a star quarterback. So I don't think I think the only concern is Jimmy Garoppolo himself. I don't think they're going to sign an outside free agent. I think, or maybe they might as a backup.
Tom Brady? You think that's a possibility?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. They wouldn't have to trade for him. It's possible, but I'd still take Lance anyway because Swift is concerning. And I think it's just telling about the Dynasty quarterback landscape that Trey Lance is my Dynasty QB 13. Just tells you that there are not a lot of good Dynasty quarterbacks. You would say, oh, should he be that high? But who else do you want?
I'm not looking at your rankings right now, but I think you'd be like looking at guys like,
Kirk
Derek
Cousins,
Carr,
Russell Wilson,
Aaron
and
Rodgers, Kirk
Kenny
Cousins,
Pickett are right
Russell
behind
Wilson.
it.
Yeah.
Not exactly. None of those are appealing.
Mm-hmm.
See, I feel like this is because we thought 2021 was going to give us a reset with Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and all those guys.
Zach Wilson
Mac
is
Jones.
Really
starting
hasn't.
to.
So
Zach Wilson is starting to drop out of my. I mean, I don't know. I think I've made my decision that Zach Wilson is not it. So I'm starting to value him more like the other guys I feel like are not. I think I've dropped him out of the value range of franchise quarterbacks. So now there's 19 left, with Mac Jones being the last, although Matthew Stafford could easily be ranked last. It's close between those two. But those are the last two. Zach Wilson, I've moved into the next range of what I would call not franchise quarterback value. Because he's just not it. Superflex Dynasty start 9, and I'm fine being wrong. If I'm wrong, then I missed out, but I can't imagine spending a premium pick on Zach Wilson ever and being like, yes, Zach Wilson on my Dynasty team. I want to bet on him. So if I'm wrong and I miss out, I miss out. But I'm okay with that. 12-team half PPR Superflex Dynasty start 9. Give Amari Cooper and Foreman, get Garrett Wilson. Yes. Yes. Garrett Wilson, please. We trade AJ Brown and Pierce. It's got to be Damian Pierce for Najee and Keenan. Oh, maybe it's not.
Wait, I'm thinking it's Damian Pierce too. That's why.
Well, it's Damian Pierce, then it's AJ Brown.
Yeah,
and
I'd rather have
Damian Pierce.
AJ Brown and
Easily.
Damian Pierce.
Yeah.
But if it's Alec Pierce, then
If it's Alec Pierce, then it's a little more. This redraft.
Really weird.
Keenan Allen looked better. He looked better. I still think it's mostly he's like kind of circling the drain, but you might be able to use him the rest of this year. It's Damian. Oh, well, then it's that side.
yeah, then
Then
yeah.
it's not a question.
Yeah.
AJ. Rather have AJ Brown over Keenan Allen by a lot, and I'd still rather have Damian Pierce over
Damian.
Najee, but it is very close now. It used to be a lot farther.
Yeah.
I lean Damian Pierce over Najee. Unless we found out that Jalen Warren was out for the year, in which case maybe I would rather Najee. Age is just a number. Hutch has talent. I totally agree with that. They also traded their third, but they have a third from somewhere. They have a third. They have two. Oh, they have two compensatory thirds. So at the end of the third. But yeah, it's not exactly a year where they're going to be able to replace. It's also why, like, their current. I'm not as worried about them somehow bringing in another wide receiver because they really can't. gonna be interesting to see what they do with Brandon Ayuk, though. Brandon Ayuk are they gonna pick up Brandon Ayuk's 5th-year option? They're gonna commit 19 or 20 million dollars to Brandon Ayuk in 2024, fully guaranteed.
Yeah, but
Are they?
what else are you gonna do? Are they gonna go with Jawan
Not
Jennings?
pick him up? No, I mean, not pick it up, play him in 2023, and let him walk. That's what you do, and recycle and find someone else cheap. Because I think Brandon Ayuk falls into that category of he's good, but he's not worth 19 million. But they might pay it. As a strong contender, what sort of draft capital would you be willing to add to Kittle to upgrade to Andrews? A lot. 2024 first enough. It's not too much. Definitely not.
I think the values on each side here are even, actually, in my opinion. I think Kittle in a 2023 first. I think
it's 2024 though.
2024 could get you Mark Andrews.
Well, then I'll take Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
Would you trade Freiermuth and Tony for Pitts on a rebuilder? Yes, I would.
Yeah.
It's starting to. If Tony had a better game this week, maybe we'd talk about it, but he didn't. So, yeah. Don't. No.
I love Freiermuth.
I do. Freiermuth is moving up. The tight end landscape is starting to become. I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, I have Pitts and Andrews 1 and 2. Then I have Kelsey at 3. Hawk and Freiermuth are 4 and 5. I have Kittle at 6. Goddard at 7. Actually, Dulcich at 8. And then
I don't blame you for that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, who else are you going to put at 8? You know,
I have Waller at 9.
I don't. Yeah.
Njoku 10. Schultz 11. And McBride 12.
Yeah, and then after that, you're probably getting to the Cole Kmets and Trey McBrides and Dawson Knox.
Well, I just said McBride I have at 12.
Oh, okay.
And then Kmet I have at 13.
Mike Gesicki somewhere in there, I'm assuming.
Gesicki's lower. I have Knox at 14. Then Everett, although if Everett doesn't start to produce something soon.
You have Isaiah Likely anywhere in there?
Yeah, I have Likely right behind Gesicki. He's at 17.
Okay.
So I do like him. Yeah. And then there's guys like Higbee and Fant and Bellinger, Auden.
Dan feels like he's so much older than 24.
Yeah. That's why I haven't given up on Fant.
Yeah, I know.
12-team PPR Superflex rebuilding. What younger wide receiver plus a second could I get for Godwin?
Younger wide receiver plus a second for Godwin. Maybe Marquise Brown, but he's not that much younger.
He's not that much younger.
Before this week, maybe Treylon Burks. Maybe before.
I think now it's too late. Yeah.
Too late. Yeah.
Well, I don't think we're very far. I don't think we're very far away from Treylon Burks being worth more than Chris Godwin.
For a competing team, might want Godwin in that deal.
Yeah. Maybe. We will see.
I wouldn't blame you if you did that as a competing team.
You're welcome. And then imagine the Jets with Brissett instead of Wilson. It's crazy that that would be a massive upgrade.
Imagine them with Flacco
or Mike White. I do think the Jets. Do you think they could make a quarterback change? I mean, to Flacco or White?
Their season's over if they don't.
Yeah, it's crazy that Zach Wilson has won every game he's started except the 2 against the Patriots, including one against the Bills. And another one against the Dolphins.
Well, that's why he didn't let the defense down, because he won all those other games, you know?
Yeah, I know. Well, next is a home game against the Bears. So maybe they'll be able
Justin Fields is going to prove why the Jets should have drafted him.
Justin Fields might not play.
I know. Day to day.
But after that, 4 of the remaining 7 games are on the road, and it's the Vikings, Bills, Seahawks, and Dolphins. All
Seems tough.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. Zach Wilson, he's bad. I do think the Jets this offseason are going to have to try to replace him because he's just so bad. And everyone sees it.
Jimmy G.
Maybe.
Maybe perfect.
Trade. Like that. I wouldn't want to give up the 2 best pieces in this trade.
I'll have to take AJ Brown, but this is much better than the other offer.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about Josh Allen with the arm, but I'm
more concerned that Justin Fields is just.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm just saying. I just want to add that in there. That I'm a little concerned with Josh Allen and his recent performances with the injury. So
yeah, I definitely
Metcalf,
understand, but I couldn't do that trade.
Yeah, Metcalf for 24 first, 23 second, and 24 second. I mean, Metcalf is worth more than this, but I don't really want to sell Metcalf.
Yeah, 2020. If it was 2023 first, it gets me a little bit more
might take it,
excited.
Yeah.
Not knowing where that first lands, though, it's kind of. I'd just rather have Metcalf for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
No problem on the advice. And then in redraft, tight end premium, Superflex start 10. Should I trade Kittle and Josh Jacobs for CMC and Devonta Smith? I'm 8-3 and have Andrews at tight end as well. CMC and Devonta Smith.
He has Andrews at tight end.
Yeah, I would take CMC and Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
Kittle scares me. I don't know how much.
It feels a little closer to me than it is because Josh Jacobs has been doing so well, but CMC just.
I still think
be a whole
CMC is
different level.
much better.
If you're taking CMC over Josh Jacobs rest of the season, I think you have to do that trade, and I'm taking CMC over Josh Jacobs rest of the season. So.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone for watching. You can follow us on Twitter at our Twitters, which are below us. And then, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on this video if you made it to the end. And we'll be back. I'll do SDLF tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. I think it'll be me, Addison, and Hutch. Addison says he's back, so he'll be back.
Try to watch it.
Yeah. And then we'll be back next week, 2 p.m. Eastern, to do the recap. And then I'll try to have some videos throughout the week. I might clip some stuff from the show and release it as videos. So that's something I've heard is very popular. So I might see about that. And thanks to the audience on this Thanksgiving week. And we get an extra day of kind of football on Thanksgiving. So that'll be nice.
Hopefully the games are good. The matchups are.
The matchups are
shaky.
They're solid for Thanksgiving. Typically, Thanksgiving Day matchups are not the greatest matchups. So,
but anyway, I'll see you all later.
Whoosh!